Good morning and welcome to Sewing Street. I'm John Cole Morgan and I'm so excited to have you on the show this morning. The amazing fabrics we've got. Look, I've got my FPP designs back. Very, very excited. So thank you, welcome you. I'm going to welcome you now and thank you for joining us so early in the morning. It's nice to have you. If you haven't shopped with us before, our website is www.sewingstreet.com, failing which you can give us a shout on our UK-based call centre on 0800 001 4433. We are operating on a skeleton staff at the moment, so it may take a little bit longer to answer your call or a little bit longer to get your delivery to you, but everybody's working safely to make sure that we're all social distancing and everything's being done correctly. We've got Joe in the lovely room over here, just the two of us today, so you'll hear Joe pattering through the room every now and then coming to change the camera because we're all just making little allowances to make sure we can be with you on air today. So I'm really excited to be with you today, and I'm very excited. You can see something on the screen over there. I'm not going to say any more, I'm just going to point at them and just say that on Easter Sunday there will be a post going up and you'll be able to put your comment on. You've got to make a note of where you see our lovely little eggs every day. Since when Neil was on Monday, I think it was. So I think that's 7 different places you would have seen it. And if you have missed where they are, don't worry, you can catch up on our YouTube channel. That will be on YouTube, and if you search for Sewing Street, you'll be able to catch up on all of the past videos and all the past shows that we've done, starting from the very first one on Valentine's Day, right up to today's show, which will go up later today once we've uploaded it. We also love having you following us on our social media. You'll see there's a slide that just went off. We've got various ways you can reach us. If you'd like to reach us on Facebook, we've got Sewing Street TV, which is the studio run one. Otherwise, we've got Sewing Street Fans, which is a fantastic page, and it's a lovely way to be able to see what everybody's making and doing, and it's just a really nice way to interact and to feel connected in this very odd world we're living in at the moment. And of course, we've got our lovely Instagram account, which is at Sewing Street on Instagram. So do follow us on there as well. And again, I've mentioned about the YouTube channel, which is Sewing Street. And if you click subscribe, every time our video pops up on there and it's uploaded, you'll get a little notification as to what is on the page for you to view that you may have missed. So at the moment, because you've joined me on the early show, we've got our amazing early bird special. And I have to say, I had this on a couple of weeks ago, and it is a saving of £5 at the moment. Not only is that just too adorable, who doesn't love bees? And you look at this amazing honeycomb over there, absolutely stunning, and you've got all these little bzzz. You can actually hear the bzzz coming through from that. But if that isn't amazing enough, look at this! It opens up with this absolute myriad of amazing things that you may need. It's just got everything you could possibly need. You've got your lovely pin cushion where you pop your pins in. You've got your wonderful embroidery scissors, which are really lovely. And again, when we can travel again, as far as I'm aware, the point from there, the bevel in the middle to the top, is short enough for you to be able to take those on aeroplanes. But they're not too sharp to cut fabric, but they're certainly sharp enough to cut thread. So that's why you can definitely travel with them. But do check with your airline, because some airlines have different measurements, etc. But most airlines do accept those. And then, of course, you've got your trusty tape measure. Obviously, every now and then, you're always looking for that tape measure where you put somewhere safe and can't find it. And this is our Jack the Ripper, for the want of a better word. It's our unpicker, where you're frogging away if you've got to do some deconstructive sewing. And then we've got our wonderful needle threader, which, oh, you can't live without these some days. They're really, really good. And you've got just a collection of little threads over here, which you'd need in, just putting on a button, or just need some odd standard threads that you might want, and they just securely go in there. So when you've used these threads up, obviously you can put your own threads on there and store them in the same way. So if you're going on a trip somewhere and you wanted to use a specific thread, you can just wind them around these wonderful little paper cards and put them in this little wonderful storage unit. And then over here we've just got a little pocket for little bits and bobs, so if you're using the glue sticks for a Sewline fabric pen, you could put those in there. But what's just so cute about it is when you've finished doing it, you hold it all up and you put your lid on, and doesn't that just look so attractive and so lovely? It's such an addition to any sewing kit. I love that. I think it's really cute. And what I love is that these little threads coming off the bee, they move around, so you can actually physically move them. So you can decorate your little bee as you go. You can see you've got another one over here, and you could do that. You can make little faces with your bee, because you can have a happy bee. I'm going to try and make a happy bee, because we need happy bees at the moment. This looks a bit more like a dancing bee today. But with all the weather warming up and everything as well, look out for those bees, and make sure if you see one who's gone a little tired, pop some sugar water into him, keep him going. So it's a wonderful little product there for our early bird. We're going to keep these on all day and until stocks run out, and that's $17.99. Such a great price for such a wonderful product. So now we've got two fabulous products by a lady, and I'm going to forgive me if I say your name wrong, Karen. Karen Gerard, I think that's how you pronounce her surname. She is the founder of a company called Seams, and she started out making the couturiers, sorry, I don't know if I've said that correctly, hand cream. And these, it's just a lovely product, and it's just got the most gorgeous scent on it. And I'm going to use this after I've used the cuticle cream, but I want to talk to you first about this product. It is so, so beautiful. The smell, oh, I just love it. Oh, I can't get enough of it. And we've got all the ingredients now on the back of the screen here, which Joe is very kindly going to zoom in on while I tell you about this. So you've got, the reason this product came into being, Karen went to fashion school and textile school, and while she was doing her course, and she was doing millinery in particular, while she was doing the course and she was handling all the fabrics and all the different products, they dried her hands out very much, and she was using a lot of wool and very scratchy fabric. So you know what it's like sometimes when you're using some wool or you're doing certain fabrics, they do get a bit dry and your hands get a little bit rough. So she asked her tutor if they had a specific product that they used, and the tutor said, no, we don't. And then she very cleverly came up with the idea and worked with the formulation person to be able to create this, and have created a really, really wonderful product. So that's the hand cream. But then she decided that millinery wasn't enough. She wanted to learn a lot more about crochet. So she then developed the Silk Touch Hand and Nail Oil. And this is absolutely lovely. And you're going to see why I've switched this around. I'm going to flop this around so you can see all the ingredients on the back of it. But what's so lovely about this product is you really do not need a lot of it at all. You'll see that my dabber has got barely any in it, and I'm just tapping that on every second finger, because it's such, and I'm not even squeezing, I'm literally just tapping it. And I'm doing it on every second finger because you need so little of this product to make it work, and it is just so lovely. And you can see I'm then rubbing it in onto my hands. And the smell of it, it's so, so lovely. But it's not one of those smells that kind of sits with you all day. You know, when you've had some really, you go into the department stores and somebody spritzes something on you and it smells like it's been with you for about 1,200 years. This one is really lovely, and it's a beautiful fragrance on it. And I think the fragrance on this, and I can tell you now, it is rosehip oil, blackcurrant seed, and peony root extract. You can't go wrong, for crying out loud. What a really wonderful combination. And it really works, but you really do not need a lot of it. And you're all going to forgive me because none of us can get manicures at the moment, but you can see it just blended in so beautifully. It's just beautifully, beautifully blended in, and it just in certain areas you add a bit more. But the thing then is, then you use this amazing hand cream product, and again, you use so little of it. I'm just going to use that much, because it's such a great product. You really do not need a lot at all. And before anybody worries, this is mine now, because obviously I've touched it, it's all mine. But it's just, you need so little of the product for it to work. So it lasts ages. It's really, really good. And you can see it just beautifully works into your hands. And the smell on this one is absolutely gorgeous as well. This is shea butter, rosehip oil again, and then oat beta glucan. Don't know, they're all far too clever for me. All I know is that, oh, it smells beautiful. It's really, really lovely. And the good thing is that you can add this on throughout the day. And the recipe she's used, when she worked with a formulation person, they wanted something that actually just absorbs into the fatty layer of your skin. And not because we've all got fat fingers, but we've all got fat under our skin. And it stays there to rehabilitate, I think that's the right word, or rejuvenate, that's the word. or the collagen in your fingers, and it just tries to stop the loss of collagen, to try and just stop the roughness that we all feel in our hands with working with fabric a lot. Just a lovely, lovely product. So it's only just back in stock because we had this. If anybody wants to see the amazing interview with her, Vix did it with her on the 22nd of February. If you pop onto our YouTube channel, you'll be able to see it on the 22nd of February. Amazing woman, lots of really, really wonderful knowledge about the product. You can then go there and see exactly what she was talking about it, how it all came to be and everything. It's a really lovely listen. And of course, Vix is amazing. So have a little look at that, and the product is really good. It sold so well the last time. We sold out quite quickly, so we finally got it back in stock. So don't lose out on that one. It's a really, really lovely product, and I have to say, this is definitely helping me in the non-manicurable moments of our life at the moment. And it's just so lovely. I just keep rubbing my hands. It's great, and it's not greasy. It's just a really lovely product. So there we go. That's our lovely Seams products for today. But I have to say, I am so excited about this. This bundle is absolutely huge. You get 5 meters of fabric. You get a 60 centimeter panel, and it's £76. 49. So I'm going to just lift this up, and hopefully I've got it all on. Look at that. Is that just not fabulous? So this is by Henry Glass. Henry Glass is a designer who's been around for many years, and you can tell on the products they are so beautiful. The thought that's gone into it, that's gone into it, it's just so brilliant. You can just see, I'm trying to get the camera, there we go. Look at that. Oh, got a little Tweety Birds upside down there, sorry about that. And you've got a lovely border fabric in it as well. And these hydrangeas, oh, I love hydrangeas. They remind me of home. And look at that. It's just, and these, the colours are just so vibrant. And look at the detailing on this wood. He's such a clever designer, and it's really, really lovely product, this. This one we had in the blue originally, and it's sold out completely. There's really not a huge amount of stock left on this product, so if you are interested, just make sure if you haven't checked out, it's not yours just yet. Oh, I've got to the bundle now. I'm messing up my order. So you can see we've got this product, this back in a darker blue, and we've got this beautiful subtle purple. It's just such a lovely range of fabrics, and when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I want to make some samples of this. However, that fabulous Debbie Shaw has beaten me to it. Now, we all know how I am an absolute Debbie Shaw geek, but I'm wondering if she'd notice if this bag went missing. Look at that. Oh, there's a bag inside. Sorry, I hadn't noticed that. I love it. Every time I look in one of Debbie's bags, and she sent us a Facebook message telling me I shouldn't look in a lady's bag because I found a whole load of fabric in another bag the other day. This is just beautiful. And you can just see how well the fabric works together. This is that purple at the bottom, and then we've got this fabric here. You can just then, because I think some people just struggle sometimes to see how this could kind of come into your life. Look how beautiful that is. You see, I think quilting on it, oh, it's just so lovely. And you can see the inside. She's used that purple as well. So that is just wonderful. But then, in case you don't want to do a big project, you've got this lovely bag. This is so lovely. Little Tweety Birds on the line. You can hear the pitter-patter of Joe's feet there. He's running around trying to get the camera to zoom in there. Thank you, Joe. Making it all work. But look how lovely that is. And you can see she's used a different fabric then for the lining. But again, this is one on our website as well. And it's just, she's so brilliant that way. And this, I think, is how sewing machine, I'm going to put it over here. And you can see this is just a lovely cross-hatched sewing mat that you put your sewing machine over here, and then you've got the little pockets that hang off the side of the table for you to put things in. And it's just a really clever, clever project, this. I love it. But look how well it works in these fabrics. And she just used the coordinating fabric over here, and on the others. Oh, she's used a different one for the backing. Oh, it's the same as the pockets. Oh, she is clever, that lady. Hello, Debbie. So a really, really lovely collection here. And of course, no projects would be complete without a quilt. And this is the one where Debbie's actually used the panel, and she's made the panel into a quilt. It's just so cleverly done. She's all right, that Debbie, isn't she? Really, really special, but it just highlights how beautiful these fabrics are. Just doing these really lovely little projects. And the projects are so simply done. There's a lot of effort in it, but you can just see, so they're beautifully executed. Obviously, they're Debbie Shaw, for crying out loud. But you can just see, even with the bag, the detailing on this fabric is just gorgeous. So Debbie, thank you very much for doing these. And I thank you very much for the bag. That was very kind of you. So I'm going to show you these fabrics individually now. So I've shown you, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, I'd hidden one when I was showing you earlier. So we've got 10 fabrics here, which are 1/2 metre. That's for our 5 metres in the bundle. So I'm going to show you each of those individually. And for the big bundle, you're going to get the panel as well. So we are selling these individually as well, but some of them are incredibly low stock. So if there's something that catches your eye, don't hang about. Check out immediately. We've only got the 1-day P&Ps, so you're not going to pay the postage twice. It's just that there is very limited stock, and if you don't get checkout, I don't want you to miss out. We always regret the fabric we left behind, or the one someone nicked out your basket. So this is this fabulous panel. It's just so cute. Really cute fabric, this. I think I've got this upside down now for the overhead. Let me do it this way. And we can see it then on the overhead then with the more detail. And you can see what I love about it is they put these borders in beautifully. And what's so good about this is, say you wanted to get 2 of these panels, because we sell them individually, if you ordered 3 or 4 of them, they would come together as one piece. But if you ordered the bundle, it would only come together as already pre-cut. So that's one thing just to remember when you are ordering. If you wanted 2 of these together, order 2 and they won't be cut, they'll be the 2 together. But a really cute product, this, really, really sweet. Lovely, lovely designs, lovely fabric. And I'm not getting any better at my folding. Oh, they've changed the folding, that's why. I'll get there one day, bear with. It's 1/2 and 1/2 today, sorry. So that's our panel. I'm going to pop that back over here. And now we've got this gorgeous hydrangea. Is this a hydrangea? I'm not sure. Oh, this is called Bird Song. So you can see how beautiful this fabric is as well. So that's going to be the 1/2 metre. It's the normal 42-inch wide. And then that is just, you can see the detailing on that fabric. It's so beautiful. And then for 1/2 metre of this is $6.99. And remember our 1-day P&P. So if you like this, don't leave it in case it's one of the ones that we've got very, very little of it left. But a really lovely, lovely product. And now I must remember 1/2 and 1/2. Oh. I think the warehouse have sent us a brand new sample, which is great. I love a 1/2 and 1/2. That I can do. I keep forgetting third. Oh, and you know I love my salvages. They've got little tiny leaves, tiny little leaves on our salvages. They look a little bit like hydrangeas. You know how I love a good salvage. But look at that. Doesn't it just look so happy? I'm trying to put these back in the right order so I don't get this the wrong way around, because the graphics have to go back in. So this is a border panel as well. So I'm going to show it to you sideways, because you can see everything runs along that way. But when I get Joe to show us on the overhead, I'll put it this way so you can see what I mean. And the great thing about this is what they've done is you've got multiple repeats of this, and what I love about this, they really thought about the spacing between the two. So if you wanted to just do that as a runner, this purple line in the middle is where you would cut, and you would then not have any seam allowances. So they've really thought about how it is that this would work well in your project, assuming how you wanted to do it. And they've just really thought about this very clever way of doing putting the spacing so this would work for any project you wanted to do. So that's very, very cleverly done. So I'm going to keep looking at these. Look at the detailing on these little baby birds. They just look like there's one happy little village sitting away. I think this is called hydrangea birds. And also, many people have asked me about fussy cutting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a little ruler that we've got later in the day. And we've got fussy cutting. So many of you have asked, how would you fussy cut? And this amazing ruler that's coming in at 10 o'clock, do not miss out. This is a really great ruler. You would be able to then easily be able to put that over the space where you want it, and you'd be able to cut this out how you'd like to cut it to be able to use it. Are we able to go to the overhead? Yeah, go to the overhead next, on the overhead. So you can see we've got this dark line there for a small, I don't even know how long that is. I think that's 1 inch is there. But that's if you wanted to fussy cut that little bird out, you would use these wonderful rulers. And you can see as I put my hand there, you've got the dotted line. So that would be the area you'd want to fussy cut. And you'd pop that over there. And you'd then cut along the dark line to keep your seam allowances. And that's how you would do your fussy cutting on these. And you can see these little birds are so cute. And if you're looking for the flower as well, that's a nice way of doing it as well. So don't miss out at 10 o'clock on that. That might be my favourite Creative Grids ruler as well. So that is the wonderful product there, the Hydrangea Bird Song. And that again was $6.99 for a ½ metre. So this one is called, oh, it doesn't have a name. It's called Hydrangeas on White. Look at that. Doesn't it just look so fresh? This is something I would definitely use as a backing because I love my blues and greens and purples. And I just think it looks so cute as a backing. That would be lovely. But also as a summer dress. Can you imagine that as a lovely summer's dress? That would be beautiful. Or a bag. You could see Debbie's made some amazing things with bags. Isn't that what she used on her? She used it on her sewing mat. They're non-directional as well, I think. So that way, that's really good. I wonder if Debbie would miss all those samples. You'll need to watch out for those messages, Joe. She's going to be asking you to protect her products soon. If anybody would like to message in, Joe, with all the myriad of things he is doing, he is actually checking the messages as well. So if anybody has any questions about any of the products, drop us a message on here. There's actually a message function on the page as well. So drop us a message, otherwise pop it on the wall and we'll get back to you if we can. If you've got any questions about the fabric or there's something you want to see again, drop us a line. We'll make sure we get it through to you. So I'm hearing that the website is really, really busy. So if you are struggling to get the baskets full and everything out, don't forget you can call our UK-based call centre 0800 001 4433 and they'll happily be able to help you as they can. And if you haven't checked out, unfortunately, if somebody's rung in, they will be able to take that out of your basket. So if you do want it, check out soon. Don't want to lose anything here. But it's a lovely, lovely fabric, this one as well. So much detailing. You can see the little birds sitting on the hydrangeas and then on the little bird houses. It's just very, very cute. Isn't it funny when I look at this one, that one there? No, it wasn't that one there. Where was it? I just saw two little birds looking at each other and I was like, social distancing! Social distancing! Very strange times we're living in. So what I'm going to ask Joe to do is I'm going to ask him to pop me on the overhead for this one. And I'm going to show you again my fussy cutting because this might work a little better on here. So if you say, for example, we're using a much bigger hexagon, you can see you can use your ruler then to fussy cut that out. Or if you just wanted to get the little house in there with the bird, you can see that that would work perfectly for a little fussy cutting option there. And over here as well, that just slots in. Oh, that's beautiful. That works perfectly there. So for EPP, a lot of people always look at fabric to see how well you'd be able to use it for all these different projects. And you can see that that would work really well as well. And I think this is a 2-inch hexagon. Oh, I've gone off screen then. Sorry. So I can show you there. So you can see this. So there are this is the small blocks in blue from Hydrangea Birdsong range. That's 1/2 meter for $6.99. But you can see very easily how you could easily go and fussy cut all the different shapes and everything out on this. So that would work really, really well if you were looking on EPP. EPP is something I've always loved doing. I'm not very good at it. Like, I think I'm not very good on anything. But that is quite a fun project. And it's always nice when you've got a lovely shape and a lovely different design that you've been able to do something interesting with. I think it works really, really well. So I'm just hearing now, if you've been looking for these products and they weren't on the website earlier, they are now. The website has been updated, so you should be able to find them all on there. Otherwise, again, that's a great way of being able to get ahead of your competitor for fabric. Give the call centre a ring on 0800 001 4433. But you see, here's just another really lovely one. I think these are blue bird houses. Don't know if these are hydrangeas. They're just so cute, the little flowers behind it. I'm not a horticulturalist, so I don't know, and I don't have a garden, so I don't know whether the flowers are, I don't know what they are. They look really cute though. And it's a really lovely colourway as well. So I think this one's called the Blue Scenic from Hydrangea, and it's $6.99 for 1/2 meter. Such a great value for this. I think it's really good. Very good price on that. We're always trying to look after you. And move this up ever so slightly. So these are very cute little birds. Kind of, you know when you see those old pictures of birds on a telephone wire, doesn't that look a bit like that? Such a cute fabric again. This whole range is really, really lovely. For 1/2 meter, that's $6.99. So if you wanted 2 meters of that, you would order 4 units and it would come to you as a 2 meter piece. I was doing so well on the folding. I knew there's always one that trips me up. I feel like we've been going for ages. This is an amazing bundle. Just look at that. I must stop looking at the screen when I look at them. It looks almost like a little ocean, doesn't it? Just an ocean of hydrangeas there. Such a lovely fabric, that one. I think that one's called, what was it, Tossed Hydrangea? Do check the website, they'll have all the correct details of it. They're all $6.99 for 1/2 meter, except, is the panel $6.99 as well? I think the panel was slightly different. Gosh, the panel's $6.99, so that's a really good deal, because I think the panel's 60 centimetres wide rather than 1/2 meter. So that's a very good deal as well. Oh, and look at that. Do double check the website for the names of all of them. You can imagine with all these different fabrics looking so similar, if one's gone in slightly different, do forgive us. Joe is working so hard to get these all right, and changing camera and running in and out. He's doing an amazing job. Thank you, Joe. But a lovely, lovely fabric range, this. And the great thing about this is I don't need to buy any of this fabric. I'm just going to take Debbie's quilt. It's just easier. Hopefully she won't notice. And then this is the really sweet purple hydrangea line work. It's just so cleverly done. Just look at that detail on it. I'm going to switch the overhead so I can show you just how beautiful this detailing is. Look how beautiful that is. So now we're going to just recap all of those. So these are all available by the 1/2 meter or the panel by per 60 centimetres. And I'm going to put the, My shirt got caught on the table then. Sorry about that. That would tell me I should eat less. I'm doing this wrong. So I'm going to now... Oh, gosh, I folded these completely wrong. Forgive the selvage being in that one. I'm just trying... You all know you get the selvage in it. And I'm sure you'd all fold this a lot better than I do. So all I'm doing now is I'm just lining this back up so I can show you that amazing amount of fabric. So everything I've shown you now, if you were looking for the mega deal, which I think was £76.49, this is everything you're going to get in the mega deal. I feel like I've been showing fabric for ages. It's such a great deal. So that's 5 meters of fabric. You're getting these 10 different fabrics, half a meter of each, and you're then getting the panel as well. Whoops. I'm running out of fingers to show them all to you there. So you can see there are 10.5 meters of fabric on this side over here, and then we've got the panel over here. It's just an amazing, amazing bundle of fabric that. Really great quality, beautifully printed, and you definitely will make amazing products with all of them. And I have to say, that smell of that hand cream is so, so good. This is backed by, luckily we've been able to get it back into stock. So we've got these 2 amazing products here from Seams. It's this lovely hand cream, and the smell was so good. I don't know if it's the rose oil or the oat beta glucan. It's just a really lovely, lovely smell on that. Seams Couture's hand cream. And that's for $13.99 for 75 mils. And you saw how little I used of the cream earlier. My hands still feel really soft and moist. And I've been holding all this fabric as well, so it's great. And then after that, we've also got our lovely cuticle oil as well. And that one is $21.99. And you saw I barely touched my finger with the dabber, so that's a really great product there as well, and they would last you for ages. So now we've got these lovely koi carp fabrics. Really, really cute. Everybody loves a good Japanese fabric. Just had a call in. The hand cream that we're advertising at the moment isn't in stock, so if you do order it today, it will come out to you. It'll be in stock tomorrow. Obviously, deliveries are a little bit delayed at the moment, so do place your order as you like, and they will come out to you. They just may be a day later if you've ordered 2 or 3 things today. So just be aware of that. We're doing the best we can, and we're really sorry for the delay. But it's very limited staff in the warehouse. We've got to keep everybody 2 meters apart from one another. So it just slows things down just that little bit. But I know you all understand. Everybody is trying to keep safe, and we're trying to do the best we can. So thank you so much for understanding on that. So now I've got my lovely koi carp fabric. So we've got 3 different colorways of those. I'll show you the 3 individually. So we're going to first show you the black. This is brand new to Sewing Street. Really, really excited. You can see these koi. Doesn't that just look like a wonderful... That is so fun. And that is half a meter for $4.99. What great value that is. Non-directional again. But also, if anybody was tempted to try a stack and whack, well, now's your chance. If anybody hasn't heard of a stack and whack before, what you do is you get... I don't know what I should do. I'll just do it very quickly. So what you can do... Can we go onto the overhead, Joe? So what you're looking for in a stack and whack, and I don't know if this is going to work. I'm just looking at it and thinking, because every fabric I look at, I think, oh, could we stack and whack that? Even my husband now goes and tells me, is that stack and whackable? So you'll see you've got 1 fish there, and you've got 1 fish there. So from the tip of that fin to the tip of that fin, so from there to there, is called a repeat. So you can see you've now got a whole repeat. So if I then go down 1 more, from there to there, you'll see that that little fishy is in the middle there, and he's in the middle there. So you can see that's a repeat. So in order to do a stack and whack, you need to do 8 repeats. So you'd count from that fin to there, that would be 1. and from there to there would be 2. So that's a ½ metre is 2. So if you need 8 repeats, you'd be looking for 2 metres. And then you can Google how you actually do it, but you cut the fabric into straight lines, and then you cut them all out. And then what you do is you get triangles, and each triangle you sew together. So you can see, just as I'm moving my hands round, you'd end up with 8 of those, 8 of those, 8 of those, 8 of those, and they just work really, really. You get a whole load of fish faces in one way, and then you get a lot of flowers in another way. It's a really, really lovely technique. And I've already spoken to Hayley to try and bring it in. But it's just a really lovely fabric. There's just different ways of using fabrics. I'm always looking at it and thinking, gosh, how would I use that? What would I do with it? But again, look at that for a bag outer. And of course, I love my inners, so I'd stick that in the inner for the lining. But it's just a really lovely fabric, that. So we've got that in the black, and then we've got it in a blue. And you can see they look so fresh. You can actually see them in a little pond there swimming away. So this is koi fish on blue, ½ metre for $4.99. And again, it's just so lovely, really cute, lots of detailing on them, lots of different ways to do it. This is a nice little dress as well, would be really cute. I'm folding them in halves today. I don't know if that's right or not, but I'm folding them in halves. And then we've got the lovely ivory as well. I'm not sure which your favourite would be. I think mine's the black, but I also quite like the ivory. Not sure. Why don't you message in and tell me which one you think is your favourite. But again, those are brand new into Sewing Street today, so $4.99 for a ½ metre. Don't miss out on those. But now, talking of new fabric, look at these. We've got a lovely toucan fabric for you today. Look at that. Tell me that's not a Hawaiian shirt in the making. Really, really lovely that. So that's toucan on yellow fabric, ½ metre for $4.99. Just so cute and fun and vibrant. Really, really lovely that. For $4.99. We really, really are bringing you lots of great value there. So you can see that's 42 inches across again, and it's a really lovely product, that. Love that. Oh, I'm going to do this properly now, get rid of the salvages. ½ metre. And then we've got this in the blue as well. I'm not sure which one I prefer. Oh, where's the other end? There we go. You could do a ½ and ½ shirt, maybe do the front in yellow. Oh, that's a fun idea. I don't know if it would work, but doing blue in the front and yellow in the back, you never know. It's just a really lovely product. Brand new to Sewing Street today. I've just noticed they've got the birds of paradise as the flower between the toucans, as well as that beautiful pink. I think the pink is a Hawaiian flower. But the birds of paradise is obviously the national flower of South Africa. Got to give my country a little shout out. It's quite... Oh, there we go. I will nail this folding malarkey if it kills me. So there we go. And now we're coming on to the fabulous, well, I think it's fabulous, FPP. Where have I put my sample now? There it is. So we're going to start at the very beginning on this. So you'll see that I've got beginners FPP. FPP is foundation paper piecing. So I did the beginner one where you can see it's just it's not a very big product. It's quite a small one to be able to do as a first one to do as a trial. And many people then say, what on earth is FPP? So I'm going to ask Joe if he doesn't mind switching to the overhead, and I can show you what FPP is. So what you're actually doing is, let's look at this one to start with. You're going to get this as a pattern in your quilt, and you can actually, in your quilt kit. So you'll be able to see that you're actually sewing onto paper. But what I've decided to do, because I adore FPP, it's one of my favourite things to do, I thought I'd give everybody a simple, basic beginner starter pack to learn how to do this. So you can see this is the most simple block in the whole process, and that then slots onto this design. If we can go back to the overhead, Joe, sorry. You can see, so I've used a really bright, vibrant, popular fabric there, but look how much better that one looks. And then of course I couldn't contain myself, I then had to carry on, and then I used it there. And I think it works so much better being a softer colorway. So what we've done in order to get that for you, what we've done is we've created this fabulous bundle for you. And then the pattern, it's a really long pattern. I think it was 28 pages. I'm just going to double check. Debbie, of course, is offering support with her wonderful books being used. She doesn't mind us using them as rests for our patterns, but I have to say her books are a lot better than my patterns, in my opinion. But there we go. So you've got a really concise, fully detailed pattern here for you. So this gives you the overview, gives you a bit of detailing on top tips and what I find what I found worked and what didn't. And then you've got your what fabric I used in my colourways. So you can see with the kit that you're getting, you'll use different colourways there, and you can slot those in how you like there. And it tells you as well at the very beginning, cut your borders out and your squares at the end, just to make sure that you've got enough fabric for when you do your pieces. And then you'll be able to see each block that you're doing. So if we look at, I think it's this one. Where are my pots? So if we look at this pot, which is this one over here. So you can see what I've done here is I've said the background, I've used cream. Over here I'm using ivory, and then I've got a purple, then I've got cream again, and then I've got a pink, but I didn't want to use a pink, I wanted to use this lovely orange. So that's how you would then adapt this into the pattern. And then if you're looking for it in the back, you've got it there. And you've got the 1-inch square on it. So I would just make sure that you remeasure everything correctly. I'm 99.999% sure these are printed correctly. And then what you do is I did mine on a different sizing, and you can see these are 7-inch squares, and you can make it from that. So that's what you're going to get as your pattern. We've done this as a really, really intense tutorial. I think it was 2 hours on I think it was the 25th of March. 25th of March. So if you were interested in this, make sure you have a look on the 25th of March. And now I've blurbed away about my pattern and everything about it, and I haven't told you what you're getting. So the first thing you're going to get is the pattern. And the pattern has absolutely everything in it that you need to make this. It's got all the templates, it's got all the designs, it's got everything that you want to do. It tells you how to put your borders on. It's got every single thing you could possibly need to make the pattern. On top of that, you've got the tutorial on the 25th of March, which will always be on the on the YouTube page. So make sure you check that out if you are interested. And then we've got this really fabulous, lightweight, beautiful fabric. Look at those colours. They just pop out at you. Don't you just want to eat them? They look like little pastels. They're gorgeous. So we've got those that you can then use as a different colorway for what I've chosen in my pattern. So you've got those, but then we also wanted to make sure that you had enough for your stems. So you had enough then for your stems and your leaves. So you've got two different greens because you want to have your stems pop and your leaves have a bit of contrast. So you've got a bit of both, but we've given you 1.5 meters of this one, I think. Is it a meter or 1.5 meters of this one? I think this is 1 meter, sorry. So this is 0.5 meter of the bright green. You've got 1 meter of the emerald green, and this would be your border fabric as well. So you would take 0.5 meter of this to use for your border. And then if I'm not mistaken, this is 1.5 meters. It is. This is 1.5 meters of ivory for you to use as your background. So you've got 3 meters of fabric here, plus this fat quarter bundle, plus the instructions, for $39.99. And you've got the tutorial on how to do it on the 25th of March. And if you've got any questions, there's a lady doing our advanced piece at the moment. She's been asking loads of questions on the Facebook page as well, so I've been able to answer those. So just pop all your questions onto the fans page, and if I can answer them, I will. But a really, really lovely bundle, and it's a great way of dipping your toe in, and you'll have loads left over. And what you'll then do is everything you've got left over, you'll find you start using little Ziploc bags, putting every colour into your Ziploc bag. So you'll put all your whites, all your dark greens and all your different pastels, and then when you go and make another product or another project, you've got all them already cut out, ready to go. So that's our beginners section on how to do that. But if you want to be a bit more adventurous, which I hope you do, we've got two different colourways. The first colourway I'm going to show you, oh, I've just dropped my sample on the floor. So we've got either a school grey or we're doing an ivory. And the school grey, it's only called school grey because it's really dark. So this is the school grey. Oh, I've just realised I've lost the white one in this. So you can see this is 51 inches square. Oh, and I haven't folded this out. And the reason this one is intermediary is the circles are not a joke. You can do them, I promise you. They just take a little bit of time. And if I can do the circles, so can you. But all it is you just start with the easy blocks, which are these ones. Then you go to the flying geese blocks. And once you've done those, you then start with your circles. So that it's a really, really easy step-by-step approach of doing it, and it just works really, really well. Just take your time. We've got lots of it at the minute. And again, on the 25th of March, you'll find that there's a demo for that as well. So I'm just going to show you what the bundle consists of. There's a lot. So I'm just going to grab the background fabrics out the way first and grab these. Look at that! So I love these fabrics, so what I've done, I've actually created these little flying geese. Now the flying geese are not in the intermediary one. These are simply to show you how well the fabrics go together. So that's the school grey. But if you were choosing the ivory, this is your fabric here, you would then just simply, instead of having a grey background, you would have the ivory background. I was really torn to see which one would go best. Looking at that, I love the school grey, but I actually am going to do it again in the ivory because it's just a beautiful, beautiful colourway. So these are the colourways that we've chosen. So you've either got the school grey, which is this. Again, these are not in the intermediary section. They're in the advanced, but I'm just showing you the different colourways and how they go together. And then you're going to get the piece of fabric on the side here. I think you're getting 1 metre of each here. Except in this one, you're getting a 1.5 metres, if I believe. Or is it 1 metre or 1.5 metres of this? You're getting more blue. You're getting more blue. Forgive me, I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how many metres you're getting of everything. But again, that'll be on the website. So this is the colourway that we've chosen. But then you get to choose whether you're doing it in ivory or whether you're doing it in the school grey. Both are going to look beautiful in my opinion, and for this one you'll have one blue which will be slightly bigger, and that will obviously be this lovely border over here. You need a bit more for that border there. So that's what you're going to be doing on that. And again, lots and lots and lots of instructions. So you can see I've made sure I've written them very clearly, very concisely to make sure that everybody can understand them. You know what you're doing, so it'll tell you, first of all, cut your borders. First of all, cut your borders, then you've got block 1, that's your background colour, and then you can see it goes up accordingly, and it's always light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. And you've got all the colourway underneath here, which will refer you to this page for the key. So you can see it'll say A1 is background, A2 is light green, A3 is light green. And again, this is all on the 25th of March if you want to see the tutorial. But it's a really lovely, lovely kit, this. And you can see it shows you each step on how to put the borders on. And then it shows you each one of these, and the size they need to be is at the top. So you can just double check everything on that. And it's just a really, really fun pattern to do. If you're looking to dip your toe in, that is 10.5 metres of fabric. 10.5 metres of fabric. And the design and the pattern, and it's $79.99. You cannot go wrong with that. It's just such great value for that price. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. So the only difference between the intermediary and the advanced is the super complicated border here. And if you want to see how super complicated it is, here's one I prepared earlier. That is only 1 quarter of the border. And I'm holding it the wrong way around. And you can see that that is that there. So you can see just how complicated that border is. But the inside is the same. But it's just, that's why I've called it advanced, because it's a lot more work doing this lovely border. Thank you, Debbie, for supporting my patterns. And then let me show you this one. I'll never get it back on there as easily as I took it off, but I'll show you anyway. So you can see this one is 61 inches square. Oh, come on. There we go. 61 inches square, and you can see I did this one in the white, but you can see that border really adds a level of detail to this quilt that is just exceptional. Really, really good. So this quilt, I think you get, is it 13 meters of fabric? Yes, it is. So it's 13 meters of fabric. Right, hold your breath. This is going to be funny. 1, 2, 3. I'm getting so much better at this. So you're going to be making 4 of these amazing borders. So that's the only adjustment between this and the advanced section. But just remember, each border is a slightly different width and a slightly different size. So if you've bought the smaller version here, these borders are a different size to that one, simply to make sure that you've got scale and all of that right. So you're getting these fabric, all these different colors here. So you can see you've got the dark orange, dark pink, dark green, light green, dark blue, light blue. And then for this one, I think we're getting 4 meters of this. I think it's 4 meters of this fabric you're getting. And you can see again, you've got the colorway choice of either doing the ivory, which is this one. See, I didn't do too well on that. So you can see that's the ivory. Or again, you're doing the gray, which is the same as this background here for the gray. So it's entirely up to you which one you choose. The price is the same depending whichever background fabric you choose. That's 13 meters of fabric. The instructions, all the pattern details in here, and this has got a lot more borders, not a lot more, but it's got another border on it, which is really complicated. You can see, you get the block here, and you just print those out, and it's got the sizes at the bottom here, so you can just triple check everything when you do it. And it's just a really detailed pattern. And you'll easily be able to understand exactly how we're doing it as you go along. And you can see all of this is described in here. All the colours, there's the picture, there's the descriptions, and then the numbering underneath. So you'll easily be able to understand all of that. And a really, really great product, really great fabrics, really nice, exciting project for you to enjoy. And especially in this time of not being able to do anything, you'll be able to spend your time doing that. But if that wasn't enough, for a very limited time and a very limited amount, you're actually going to be able to buy these 3 patterns without any fabric. Very limited stock though, so if you are interested in those, make sure you check out really quickly, because you're not going to be able to get those for very long. You're getting all 3 of these patterns without the fabric, and that's for $19.99. This is sold out twice already, and I'm expecting it to sell out quite quickly again, because it was really, really popular the last time. So if you are interested, don't hang about. And remember, if you haven't checked it out, it's not yours yet. So if somebody calls the call center, they will easily be able to take it out of your basket, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But it's a really lovely, lovely set of patterns, and it's certainly something that you can progress. And it's as long as you understand this bit in the beginning and you take your time and do this, when you go on to the intermediate one, that one is really, really fun and exciting. The curves are a little bit tough, but once you just take your time on the curves, and again on the 25th of April you'll be able to see how I've explained them, you will easily be able to do these curves. If I can do them, I know you can. And you can easily do those, and you just make sure you pull your papers out, use the bias, and you can stitch these really, really easily. And I have no doubt that your seams and pressing will be a lot neater than mine. But definitely give it a go. So the intermediate is a really nice advanced step up from the beginners section. And then once you've done that, you're going to want to do it all again, obviously, by adding that really lovely flying geese border into the advanced section. So if you are interested in just the patterns, they're back again, limited stock on them. So do check out those as quickly as you can. So now we've had so many wonderful products. I'm loving that. So we've got these fantastic. Now these are incredibly limited edition. I'm going to start off by saying these are incredibly limited edition, limited stock on these. So if you want them, do not hang about. They're really limited in what we've got. So we've got these fabulous frozen fabrics. As we all know, let it go, as mothers around the country are begging the world to stop singing that song, or normally just their own household. So this is non-directional fabric. Is it non-directional? Either way, I'm going to hold it that way. So this one is, now I can't remember all their names, it's Olaf. This is Olaf's Frozen Adventure Patchwork Design. What's the name of the reindeer? Joe doesn't know what the name of the reindeer is. Oh, he's Googling it now, I'm sure he is. But you've got Elsa, and you've got Olaf. Sven, that's his name. But just such a cute, lovely fabric. Really, really sweet. And it is the original licensed fabric, so it is limited for stock. If you are interested, don't hang around. And then we've got our second one here, the Season to Celebrate. This is Olaf's Frozen Adventure in light blue, 1/2 metre for £6.99. Oh, this one's really cute. Look at that. This is the one with Elsa on. Look at that. It looks almost like it's got needlepoint on it. And this is Frozen Alpine Wonder Elsa fabric, 1/2 metre for £6.99. That is really cute. Aren't these designers so clever? We've got 3 more. I'm so excited. I do a yarn bomb in my town. I run a yarn bomb with these incredible ladies that make all these different products for us each year. And last year at Christmas, we had a Disney snowman inspired theme of Frozen. Oh, it was wonderful. We had so many different characters that these ladies made, and we raised so much money for charity. It was wonderful. So just a really lovely fabric again, and that's £6.99. And remember, these are licensed fabrics, original, proper, honest Disney fabrics. That's how I was just trying to remember which company made it. How could I get that wrong? Oh, look at this one. So this is Elsa, and what's Elsa's sister's name? Is it Fiona? Can't remember what Elsa's sister's name is. Anna. Anna, that's it. Anna, Sven and Elsa. All in a lovely little... You kind of imagine that being snow angels, don't you? And then last, but by no means least, oh, I think this is my favourite. Look at that. I just love, you've got this wonderful circle in there. If you look at the detailing in that circle, it looks like one of those beautiful, it looks like a frozen flower. Very, very clever. Ah, and Elsa's hugging Olaf. It's really cute. This is Olaf's Frozen Adventure blue fabric, 1/2 metre for £6.99. All licensed Disney fabrics, completely limited on our stocks, which is great. So So if you do want it, make sure you check out, because until you've checked out, there's nothing, it's not yours. So we're going to go and recap these lovely koi fabrics here. We've got this beautiful black one here, which is definitely my favourite, I think. Very inventive name, koi fish on black. Can't go wrong with that. And that's $4.99 for a ½ metre. So if you were ordering 3 units, 1.5 metres, that would come to you as 1.5 metres piece. Don't forget you can get this on our call centre or on our website, www.sewingstreet.com. If you click on our website, the first bit will be the YouTube video of what should be live with me now, failing which it'll be a rerun of other shows that we've had previously. And then directly beneath that will be all the products from today's show, and then beneath that will be Debbie's show from yesterday, and then Debbie's show from the day before, and all the different products from Neil on Monday. So it will just keep going down with all the amazing products we've had on all the different shows. So this is koi fish on blue fabric, ½ metre for $4.99. And then finally, we've got the koi fish on ivory. You just tell the detailing on this is so brilliant. That's again $4.99 for a ½ metre. Brand new to Sewing Street today, these 3 fabrics. I have just heard, if you are interested in the FPP instruction bundles, just the patterns on their own, there are 5 left. If you're interested, don't hang around. There are only 5. If they're in your basket, someone may call into the call centre and be able to take out your basket. So don't hang about with that if you are interested. I'm going to recap our amazing little early bird special on today with our lovely bees that you can move the arms and legs and everything. And then if you pop that open, you've got this wonderful little hexagon popping out. You've got the pin cushion in the middle. And you can see as I rotate that round, you've got these lovely different sleeves as you go around with all these different things in it. This is the moment is an empty pocket that you can put things in. And just you can tell how beautiful my nails are looking after that lovely seams product. Don't hang about with that either. So we've got this wonderful thing. So we've got the pin cushion in the middle. We've got our lovely little empty pocket over here where you can put anything you like in. The other thing I find is when ladies come to my group, they've often forgotten their money. So some ladies pop a tenner in there to pay for their fee for the day. And then you've got your beautiful scissors that you would just use. These are not really sharp fabric cutting scissors. They're really for threads. And they're easy to be able to take on a plane. Just double check the width, the length of the blades are allowed on your plane when you go. Fingers crossed we can travel again soon. We've got our 60-inch tape measure here, which is metric on one side and imperial on the other. We've got our Jack the Ripper, seam ripper here for your frogging work, which I know you don't want to do, but we all need to at times. And that's nice and secure in your little box over there. You've got your needle threader over here, which is really handy. Everybody needs a good needle threader there. Not sure you can see that on there because they're so fine. But that's got a nice little pocket that can live in over there as well. Here you've got a card with various threads on it. Once you've used those up, you can put the threads on that you're using for whatever projects you're doing at the moment. And then we're back to the beginning over here again with our empty pocket. And again, these just slot so beautifully together. And then the lid goes on so beautifully. And you can see the detailing on these pieces on the sides. They're just so brilliantly very, very clever. Look at that one. It's just so vivid and the colours are so beautiful. You've got the hexagons there. Gotta love a good hexagon. So it's just a really lovely product. So this is our early bird special at $17.99, saving of £5 to when we've had it on previously before. So if you are interested, don't hang around. So again, when you pick it up from the lid, make sure you grab it from the bottom as well. You don't want it coming apart like that. Stay. And as I said, while I was doing that, I was noticing how lovely my nails looked having used this product. We've got the lovely hand cream here by Seams. So that's $13.99 for that. And you saw how little I used and just how much softer my fingers are looking. And you can see my nails are all shiny now after that lovely oil. So we've got that, and then we've got the, oh, I'm going to put that there. We've got our cuticle oil as well, which you saw I barely used any of it. So you can see that is our cuticle oil, and that one is $21.99 for a 28 milliliter bottle. But again, you can see it's got this wonderful dabber. So I've barely had anything in, and you can see that even when it looks as though it's empty, it's got loads in there. So 2 drops would get you going, no problem at all. It's just a really, really lovely smelling product. This one is rosehip oil, blackcurrant seed oil, and peony root extract, the smell on that one. And the hand cream was shea butter, rosehip oil, and oat beta glucan. I will learn how to say that word one day. But a really lovely product there, so don't... They're back in stock again today. We sold out so well of them the last time, which is good, great that we can get them back to you. What a lovely show. I'm loving all these wonderful fabrics and different designs and things that you can do. Do check out everything on the website, and thank you so much for being with us today. Hang around for the next couple of hours. We've got a fantastic set of rulers from Creative Grids and some Liberty fabric. I can't wait. I get to cut into the Liberty fabric today. Very excitable. So yes, lots to see in the next 2 hours. So we're with you for 3 hours now. So we'll be with you until 11 o'clock. See you in about 2 or 3 minutes. Thank you so much for your time. A graphic will come back up now. There may not be sound, but it's just us preparing for the next show. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Bye-bye.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now, this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines, and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you, or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
Hello and welcome. We love hearing from you, and we really hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram, which is @SewingStreet. We have Facebook. We've got 2 Facebook pages. One is the Sewing Street TV page, and the other one is Sewing Street Fans. All 3 of these are monitored all the time by our wonderful team, and if you want to message us on air, drop us a line on either of those 3, and we'll definitely be able to answer your questions that you may have. If you post on the actual wall, we can perhaps answer there. Otherwise, message us as well. That works really, really well. Thank you so much for being involved, and it's only because of this community that we're able to bring you all these different diverse products and to be able to answer your questions that you may have. Another way you can stay in touch with us is by signing up to our newsletter. These newsletters are sent out to you very regularly, and they include not only our guest profiles of upcoming guests, but also amazing shows that we've got coming up for you. And if you want to look at the amazing products before everybody else, that's the best way to do it. If you'd like to sign up and you haven't already, the link to follow is www.sewingstreet.com/sign up. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day, and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand, because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm John Cole Morgan and I'm here to give you my top tips on how I go about enjoying my sewing experience. My first top tip, as everybody knows, rotary cutter safety. If you're not using it and it's not on the mat, that blade must be locked. Please be safe. My second top tip is always buy more fabric than you need. If you don't have it, it's always going to sell out. You're going to struggle to find it, and when you do, it's going to cost you a lot more than when you were going to buy it originally. So buy it all. You always regret the bit you didn't buy. My next tip is positive or negative, always listen to the advice and opinions of other people. Even if you ignore them, everybody has a different perspective, everybody has a different take on things, and it might help you along the way. The next top tip I have is always buy the most expensive and the most useful and the most practical for your brain product that works for you. Some people prefer different things, buy what works for you. And my last tip is, this is fun, this is enjoyable, and make sure you are enjoying it. Because there's nothing worse than carrying on with something and hating it and not enjoying it. You need to make sure that you're having fun. Those are my top tips and how it is that I enjoy my sewing experience. I hope they help you, because they have helped me. For more handy tips and demonstrations, make sure you watch us on our Freeview channel 74, Sky channel of 670, otherwise follow us on YouTube on Sewing Street, where you can catch up on past demonstrations and shows. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome back. I'm John Cole Morgan and we're doing our 2 hours Creative Grid special. I am so excited. Just a little bit about us. If you want to shop with us today, you can shop on our website of www.sewingstreet.com. Otherwise, our UK-based call centre on 0800 001 4433. I actually gave that number to somebody the other day without even looking it up. It was so exciting. So today, many of you have heard me speak about Creative Grids, and I absolutely love them. They've got a fantastic product range, and we have been really lucky enough to be able to show a lot of them recently. So they've got a wonderful different eclectic range of rulers and trim tools and different designs, and some of you may know them under the brand of Strapology, but obviously it's the same company. So many of you don't know what Creative Grids means, so I'm going to show you. While I'm now looking for the reflective light on there, oh there we go, thanks Joe, you can now see over here where I'm moving the light, you can see there's a raised bevel bit, and on the edges you can see it as well. What that is, if I rotate, can you see that there? No, not really. So what that is it's sort of a raised area on your ruler. So a normal ruler that you get is like the front side of the ruler. It's just, you can do that with it. I'm not applying a lot of pressure, but the ruler slips as you're using it, and there's nothing wrong with that. You've just got to be a bit more sturdy. But Creative Grids have developed these wonderful little notches or raised edges and bits that if you then put your pressure on it, obviously if you can still move it, but when you're putting your hands on it to cut your fabric, it's much more sturdy. So Creative Grids patented that technology, and that's how many of us know Creative Grids, is either through this standard 6.5 by 24 inch ruler or by the Strapology cutting grids, which is a fantastic tool. But, so they've come up with all these different products, so you can make all these amazing different things. So this is on at 10 o'clock. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a hint of how you can use these products. So this is the 10 o'clock show with the Hexagonal Trim Tool. But today, in this hour, I'm able to show you not only our curvy log cabin, so you can see that you've got the dark sides are a little bit bigger than the short sides, but we've also got the traditional log cabin, and then from the same ruler you can make different types of log cabin and quartz steps. So there's a huge array of products from Creative Grids, but they are just such a fantastic company, and the product is so good, and there's not non-slip but less slip, I'm going to call it, because it can still slip if you apply pressure, but it is just a lot safer and a lot easier to use. So I love this product simply because it does have that extra security measure behind it, but also the creativity behind it and what you can make. So today I'm going to show you all of these different ways of using these rulers, and the great thing about the rulers is each of them come with a whole set of instructions on how you can make different products, and how to use the rulers to make each different ones. Really, really, really well thought out, very, very clever, and just a really useful tool that you'll be able to keep in your sewing box and your sewing arsenal and use it at times like this where you've got loads of fabric that you haven't used yet but you're not quite sure how, and you can then use one of these amazing rulers to make some incredibly interesting quilts. So I'm going to start quickly, just very quickly, because I'm so excited. They're going to let me cut into the Liberty fabric today. So I'm going to just show you very quickly, because I can't show this to you at the 10 o'clock hour. Just going to show you, we've got 2 bundles of Liberty today. They're a ½ meter of each. So we've got this fabulous one here. And I will show you again this again at 10 o'clock. I'm going to be cutting bits off it now, so I don't want to be leaving this behind. So you're getting a ½ meter of this one, and a ½ meter of this blue, and that is $14.99 for a Liberty fabric for 2 ½ meters, coming into the blue log cabin fabric bundle kit for $14.99. The only reason I'm showing it now is because I'm about to cut into them for the first time. I'm allowed to do that. I'm very excited. So I thought I would show you the blue fabric first, because there will still be some left over, but I just want to show you. And you've also got them individually on the website as well, so you can look those up as well. We've also got the log cabin pink bundle, and you can see how beautiful this one is. Again, we've got a ½ meter of this light fabric, and then a ½ meter of a slightly darker fabric, which goes so beautifully together. And again, I'm just showing you these now because I'm going to cut into them, and I didn't want you not to see what you were getting before I start cutting them. And I'm holding that upside down, so 30 seconds, or 2 seconds hopefully. That's the way it should be, because this one is directional, you can see there. So yeah, just really lovely fabrics there, so I'll come back to them. It's just they're going to have bits that cut off them, because I'm so excited. So the first one we're going to do, shall we do the curvy log cabin trim tool? And I'm going to ask Joe if he wouldn't mind switching to the overhead. And I'm going to show you a couple of things about log cabins you might not know. So you can see that you can now rotate these. You can see the curve here. You can see how when you use the light into the middle, that works very, very well. But equally, when you put the darks to the middle, you're able to tell the circle a little bit better. But it's nice to be able to see you can do the inverse on it. So you can see you've got that circle developing in your quilts. It's a really, really clever, clever tool. And I've got the wrong instructions for the wrong one, do I? Got the instructions the wrong way around, bear with. So this is the instruction booklet. So what's great is when you get your ruler, don't throw these away, because they come with a list of really clever ideas of what you can do with the product. So what I've made is I've made this block here, but equally we're going to make this block today where it's going to be the other way round. So my lights will be the thick ones and my darks will be the thin ones. So that is your instructions, and you've got all these different ways of how to use the tool, how to position your fabric. It's a very, very well thought out set of instructions. So don't put these away, don't throw these away, because most of us do look at it and go, oh, piece of paper with a product, throw it away. These are really, really good. Don't get rid of these. So that's the first thing there. Now, many of you who've made log cabins before may not know a bit of the history of them. So log cabins were one of the most traditional blocks to do, and you'll find that most log cabins, like the one I've done here, have a red or a pink or an orange middle, and the reason being is the idea was that if you ever wanted to come home, the home fires would always be burning, which is why this is always pink or red or orange, but it's got that colour of fire in it, and that's why you'll find most log cabins, traditional, have those. So I then follow that tradition. I think it's a nice tradition to be able to do, and always have the middle of my log cabins or my court steps or whatever being in a pink or a red. So you'll find that's why that's the story that it is. And it's a very traditional block, but you can tell with these colours, it's much more contemporary than you would have expected. And the great thing about this ruler is look how beautifully lined up these all are. And this is not my having a great 1/4 inch seam, because I really don't, but you can see how good that is. And what works really well with this is, I'm just going to pull these apart. You can use these rulers together. So if you wanted to do something like this, I'm going to push this a little bit there, because I think we've maxed out the height of that now. So you can see you've got these curves here, but you've got that in the middle. And again, you can then do all these wonderful different log cabins. You can see, so that's a normal log cabin. This is the next ruler we're going to do, versus the curvy log cabin there. And you can see just how different it looks, creating that wonderful curve. And you can then create all your own designs as to do this. So you can pop these on the corner, you can put different blocks in the middle, you can put this there. It's up to you, your own creativity, and it will be the only thing that will limit you on how you can use these different rulers in different ways. So I'm very excited to be able to show you how to use this ruler. So of course, as a fabric spire, is that the word? Or what did I do with that fabric? Oh well, the great thing about working for Sewing Street is there are little bits of fabric lying around all over the place. So I like this red, and I think this red will make a really lovely centre for our curvy log cabin block. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my instructions, and it tells me that the centre square can be a precise 1 3/4 square of fabric. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to take my ruler, and because I've got my seam allowance, I'm just going, not my seam allowance, my selvage. I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to put this under here so that we know it's been used. So you're going to cut off a 1 3/4 inch square of fabric for your centre. So using my trusty ruler, and I probably have cut a little bit too wide off that, but I'd rather cut it too big than cut it too small. So there we go, that's 1 3/4, that is our centre square. You've done round 1. And your centre square, I'm using the wrong rulers here, sorry about this. There we go. So that is our centre square. I'm hoping that shows up. That's our centre square with the seam allowance. And if you don't have the method to do that, you can look here and you can see that the white line here lines up your 1/4 inch there for your seam allowance, and then the end of the ruler lines up your 1/4 inch there. So that is your seam allowance there, completely correct. And then it tells you that you're going to cut 2 different widths of fabric. So you're going to cut the narrow strips at 1 1/2, and you're going to cut the wide strips of at least 2 1/4. So I'm going to cut them at 1 3/4, and I'm going to cut them at 2 1/2, just because it gives you that little bit of wiggle room. And I always think cut wider and cut bigger, and that way then there shouldn't be a problem later on when you're doing it. And I get to use the Liberty. So we've cut our centre square out, so I leave that on my little ruler over there. I'm then going to take my fabric. Now I'm very comfortable with cutting, so I'm going to do my darks. So we're going to do the darks as the narrow seam and the lights as the bigger seam, because I'm going to do the inverse of what I did with the previous blocks that I've already demoed. So I'm going to put my blue and my pink together because they're just so beautiful. And I'm going to need, I think it's about 2 strips per block. So I'm going to cut, just to save you watching me cut fabric, because there's nothing more boring. Dum dum dum. So the narrow one, I need to be 1 1/2, so I'm going to cut that at 1 3/4. I'd rather cut them bigger than smaller. feels so good cutting the Liberty fabric. And I'm going to cut 2 just in case I need them. It saves me clearing everything off again. Right. So those are my darks. That's my blue, and then this is my pink. And you can see why I showed you the fabric first, because having cut them in half, everybody will think, oh my gosh, I'm getting much smaller pieces, but you're really not, I promise. And then we're getting the lighter fabrics of the 2. And then this one, we're going to cut 2.5-inch pieces. And I'm going to cut 2 of those as well. You probably won't need 2 runs of each fabric, but I'm just cutting that many just in case and to save time. So just to make sure I've got them big enough, I'm doing these at 2 3/4. Right, so that's what's left of our pink. And what's left of our blue. So now, I just want to make sure that you do exactly the way I did it. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to do because I'm doing this inverse, I just want to double check. I'm going to do the light fabrics first. So I'm just going to trim off my salvages. Right, so I have my red square, and I then have my light fabric, which is going to be the inverse of what's on the picture. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to decide the order that I'm doing this in. So I'm going to do a light colour, light colour, light colour, light colour, light colour, light colour. So I think I'm going to do the pink, blue, pink. And on the other side, I'm going to go blue, pink, blue. I hope that makes sense, but I think I know what that means. So it's pink, blue, pink. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to, because it's a batik, it doesn't have both sides. It's got both sides. So I'm going to do right sides together. I'm going to hope that my sewing machine, I've got the wrong foot on, but that's okay. I'm going to make it work. Oh. And the great thing about this is if my seam allowance is slightly out, it won't matter because the ruler automatically fixes it for you. Oh, something's gone wrong there. Of course it has. Live telly, what could possibly go wrong? Ah, my bobbin's come undone. There we go. While I'm doing that, actually, I'm going to get my 1/4-inch foot out. Bum, bum, bum. Sorry about that. What's wrong with a bit of frogging first thing in the morning? Come on. There we go. Oh, come on. Why are you not happy? Okay, that looks a bit better. Third time's the charm. Thank you, my Juki. Ah, that's better. Right. So, sorry for technical problems. Of course, it would happen now. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to press this open. Actually, I'm not going to press this open. I'm going to turn my iron on. There we go. Got a lovely prim iron there. And our wonderful June Taylor pressing mat. So all I've done is I've taken one square of my centerpiece and I've sewn it to one short side of my one of my pieces of light fabric, because we're doing this as an inverse. And then my next step is to take my pink fabric and to measure roughly how long that is, and I'm going to cut that off there. So what we're doing here is, you can see there I've got C, which is my red, and I've got the white, and then I'm going to sew that on there and do that over there. And our bobbin seems to be holding and liking that, which is great. So we've done that. And then what I'm doing, now this, I do think it is important on this block specifically to make sure that you press your seams open. The reason being is it just looks a lot neater, and I just think it works really, really well, because also if you're pressing to one side, you may end up with some colours going through the other way. I just prefer doing it this way. You must find the way you want to do it. So there we go. We've now done round one of the wide fabric. So on the ruler, I'm going to put that under the white, you can see it says wide round one. So what you do then is, that little block is wide round one. You can then see you're going to line up that dark line and that dark line with the seam and the stitch. So you're then going to take your rotary cutter and you're going to cut that off, and you're going to cut that off. So you can see I've moved ever so slightly on that one, so I'm going to be a hair's breadth short on there, but it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter about this side yet either. So you just leave it exactly as it is. All you're doing is you're lining this up, round one, on the wide fabric, you're going there. Okay? So now we're going to be doing the blue thin fabric. So I'm going to take my blue. Make sure you're safe with your rotary cutter. You know how I love to go on about it. So that's going to be the size of one of them. And then that's going to be the size of the second one. So I'm just eyeballing that. You can see what I've done is that is bigger, but all I'm doing is I'm trying to get the width of that correct. And then when I've done those two, it'll be sewn on there. You can see these are much bigger than they need to be, but just for demonstration purposes, I'd rather have them too big than too small. So what we check back to the instructions, you've now created C, that one and that one. So you can see C, that one and that one, C, that one and that one. You're now going to sew that one, which will be there, and then you're going to sew that one, which will go there. Okay, I think it's important to always refer back to the diagram, because it's very easy to get confused and there's a lot going on, to make sure that you get it the right way round. Oh gosh, there goes my iron. Sorry. Broken sewing machine, knocking the iron off. What could possibly else go wrong, you know? Okay, so again, we're going to get our lovely June Taylor pressing mat. And this is actually a really good mat, because it's because it's so big, you can just rest it over the work that you're working on and you're not disrupting anything. And again, I'm pressing my seams open. Just think it works really well for that. Okay, so move that out the way. And then we know, we've sewn that one on. We know now that that one's going to go there. And if you don't believe me, go back to your notes. you've done that one, you've done that one, you've done that one, you've done that one, you've done that one. Because you're always going in a square and you're always trying to make sure that the square is the right size. So one of the things I learnt with this, because I made quite a few, is this is my top tip on it. I don't know if it's right, it may not be the way Creator Good recommends it, but this is the way I find it. The red mark here, I find resting it up to there and cutting the fabric off is easier, because what Creative Grids recommend that you do is that you put the fabric on over there and you sew it. But what I was finding was, if I distorted this red in the middle in any way and my fabric went on a bit like that, it just then didn't look right. So that's why I'm squaring it up, and that is not the way that Creative Good recommends it. It's just what worked better for my brain. So you can choose which one you prefer. I just prefer sewing onto a solid line where I'm not imagining where I'm cutting. And you can see there I did not cut the red at all. So all I'm doing next is I'm laying that on there. Boom, boom, boom. Does anybody else sing to themselves while they sew? So the other thing to think of here is that you don't actually need to have any other ruler than the one you've got with the curvy log cabin trim tool, because you can easily trim these edges with the trim tool rather than using a separate ruler. It's entirely up to you. I'm just of a habit that I just use the different rulers for different things, but it would easily work for you being able to do it for both. So again, you can see I'm just pressing everything flat, everything open. And we've now done our first complete round all the way around. So as we previously did before with the white one, we know that the white one, that was our first wide group. So here, what I would do as well, I would just double check that I've got all the fabric that I don't need cut off. So this one, I don't need. So you can easily use your ruler, your trimming tool, and you just cut that bit off. So we've done the wide range, but now we're cutting the thin range, because this is now our thin fabric that we've put on. So you rotate this round and you can see it says there narrow round. Now this is actually a really good thing you can see here. What's happened is my 1/4 inch here was slightly out. So you can see that my block is now no longer exactly square. So what I do now is I line, you can see there's a dotted line here. I line that dotted line up to the seam. So you can see that that goes across the seam, and I line that line there. You can see again I've got a dotted line. I line that up with the seam, and then I trim. So you can see my block is slightly no longer square, but that's all right. If anybody has a problem with it, well, bye-bye. That's just, I don't mind that, but it's I match the seams up now rather than the square, because otherwise some people may unpick it, and if you don't mind too much about that, it doesn't matter, because now your tool has made it completely easy for you to be able to carry on. So we're now doing the blue, and we've now sewn, so you can see here we've sewn C and the white and the white and the light, the blue and the blue. And now what I'm going to do is I'm sewing there and I'm sewing there. And I decided this time I was using the blue. So the first piece goes there, and the second piece goes at the top here. So you can see I've done that bit. This bit's the next piece to go on there, and then I need to put that bit on top there. So that's round 2. So again, get our lovely June Taylor mat on top of everything, not in anybody's way. Okay, so I just double check this back to the drawing. So I've just sewn this one on here, so now I'm doing that one there. So that one goes there, right sides together, and I'm going to hang that a little bit over, so you can see I've got a little bit popping out there. I'm just doing that because I'd rather trim down and it not be right than it be a bit wobbly. Oh, I'm doing really well with the sewing machine today. Come on, you. I didn't even worry that that unthreader was going to work then, because this unthreader is incredibly reliable. Just a really lovely little ruler, this, and it's so clever. And I suppose you could do this yourself, but it just makes your life a little bit more complicated because you're not quite sure. You've got to just keep watching out what you're doing. So now when I trim these down, remember we did the first narrow round when we put the blue on, and we lined this seam up here and that seam up there. I'm now going to repeat that. Sorry, I got my head in the way. Just needed to check. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim off the waste bits on the edge here that I don't need. But I make sure that I'm always measuring to the same sections that I measured before. So that was the first trim off of there. And now I'm doing the wide round. So I was on the narrow round. I'm going to flop my ruler round, and I'm now on wide round 2. So you can see, again, I told you that my square is no longer a square. I'm going to now keep lining up with those blue lines over there. So that's the measurement that I'm going to. So if you've made the same error, you then just keep making sure you can see this black line here. I'm lining up with that first blue line there to make sure that it matches up, and it does. And I'm then going to trim away. So with this, it is very, very user-friendly, that even if you do make a mistake, it saves you because you don't have to worry about where you're going next. So now we just double check where we are. We've done the C, we've done there, 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 we've done there. Now we're doing this block here, this one here, and that one there. And I said that those were going to be pink. So I've got my lovely pink fabric here. Oh, and it says Liberty. Liberty fabric. I'm actually able to cut up the Liberty. So I'm just double checking that because I lost my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the first piece of fabric I'm going to cut will be there. And then the second piece of fabric will be here. So you'll see on most log cabins, you've got a dark side and a light side. Not quite sure why that is, but it's just one of those traditional things that I've just come to accept for what it is. And you'll see now we try to follow that through. So when I'm sewing this, you can see I've allowed a little bit of space on the top there and a little bit at the bottom, knowing that I'm going to trim those off at the end. And now, because I've got so many seams I'm going over, I'm putting the fabric that I'm sewing on flat underneath, and I'm trying to make sure I can keep my open seams open from the top. Okay, now, there we go. So I'm now pressing the seam open again. How much time we got left, Joe? perfect. We're going to run over a little bit on this hour, just so that I can show you where we are now. We've only got 4 more pieces to sew on. So I'll try and speed up for you all so you can see it, because I think most of you get the idea of where we're going. Sorry. So what I love about this ruler and the non-curvy one is they work identically apart from the way you line the rulers up. And I'll show you that on one of the demo pieces that I've already made. It's just, this is the most difficult thing to wrap your head around, is how am I doing this and rotating the ruler? So you've just got to remember, and ask me how I know, once you've done a strip, once you've sewn a strip on, use it, because the number of I did it twice, and I'm thinking that block isn't right, and I forgot to trim it. So I think it's important that you always get it from me, that you know where the errors are, because I'm going to be honest and tell you where I've messed up. So here again, you can see my square isn't square anymore, so I'm going to line that line and this line up to my blue edges, my blue seams. Forgive my head popping in, I just want to make sure I got it right. So now I then trim this bit off, because this is for the second round of the thin fabric. And when I've done that, I'm going to rotate it round, and because this is the second round of the wide fabric, that was what we did previously, I'm going to line my blue lines up again. And the reason I'm doing that is, look, we've got little bits there and little bits there. So all you do now is you just trim those off and you trim those off. So that's why I just wanted to show you, you can use this ruler to do the trimming. You can equally use another ruler and just go off and straighten that line up. It's entirely up to you. So now we've done C, we've done there, 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 we've done there. Sorry, we've done there and there. Now we're doing that one, that one, that one, and that one. We've only got 4 to go. So now we know that the next one is pink. Where's my pink fabric gone? Oh. Good thing I cut 2 pieces. Oh no, here it is. So I'm cutting for this side, because I know that's the first run. And then my second run, I know, is over here. So there we go. Right, so first things first, I'm going to sew that to there. And again, I'm going to allow a little bit of fabric over each edge. Just that way then I can trim it down rather than not have enough. Perfect. Pop my... And it's only because I'm on telly that I'm making sure I press these perfectly. This is the way you should do it, whereas 9 times out of 10 it wouldn't be like this. If it was a quilt just for me, it would not be so precise. But I want to make sure I get it right. So now we've done that side, we're going to put this right sides together. I'm going to hang a little bit of fabric off this end. I'm going to rotate this around so I've got a straight edge to go. Little bit of fabric off this end, and I'm going to sew all the way down. Now previously when I said to you that I trimmed off, you can now trim this off if you want to. I don't have that much longer left on my demo, so you're going to just have to bear with me. Oh, are we going? Oh, come on. Are you going? Oh, I think we are. Do I have a stitch? No. We've all done that where you can say, I know you're not threaded, I know you're not threaded. Oh. There we go. There we go. And finally, I'm now pressing open that seam. Only 2 more to go, in case you're getting bored, 2 more to go. But the great thing with this is you get a really accurate block, and it's very forgiving. If you have made a mistake, you're very easily able to fix it using this ruler, which is what I love, because we all make mistakes. And just for that little investment of a lovely ruler like this, you want to make sure that you've got it right. So the last one we did was the second narrow. So I'm going to rotate my ruler so you can see, and I line the blue up with the blue, and you can see the second narrow. I'm able to cut that bit off and this bit off that are a little bit wider. So I think that's a really nice way of being able to make sure everything is lined up perfectly. So now we've done 1, 2, 3. This is our third wide round. So that was the center, first and second. So what's going on now? Oh, sorry. That's what it is. So you're going for when you're doing the third, you've got round 3 there because they share a block. That was why I got confused then. Sorry about that. So you're lining again this seam up there and that seam up there with the blue, which we've done previously because our square's just gone a little bit off center. So now we've finished the wide side, so you can see that that's now creating, you can already see that lovely curve. And now we're going to do the last of the blues on this side. So you know that that's going to be, hang on, let me check which way is first. Yes, that's my first side. And then my second side comes down here. So we know that those 2 are now going on here. This is my first side that I'm going to sew to, so I know that that's a relatively flat edge. I'm putting it that way, so I've got a little bit of fabric at the top there. And the great thing is the method that I'm using here, oh my goodness, I'm having a great day with the unthreading of this machine. Live telly, what could possibly not work? So the great methodology about these Creative Grids trimmers is that the way that I'm using this is exactly the same for not only this one, but also the hexagon tool I'm going to bring you at 10 o'clock. And the reason is, it's just the simplicity of how you use it. You've just got to keep reading the ruler, matching it back to the instructions, and it just goes so effortlessly together. Right, so we've only got 1 seam left to go. And that's going over here. And I'm going to move that down a little bit there. And hopefully my little machine's going to stay threaded. That's the great thing about these Jukies, is they send you on you've got a class that you can go to if you want to learn how to use it in case you're doing user errors. And that's definitely a user error there. Right. And that's our last seam. Oh, there we go. So now I'm going to press this last seam down. Oh. I can't sew with a shoe on, so I was just chasing my slipper around the chair there, sorry. I don't know, is anybody else not able to sew with a shoe on? Joe's telling me in my ear that he can't sew. So not only is he so talented with all of this, he's really funny as well. So you can see I've now made that nice and flat. I've got my lovely ruler, so I've trimmed this one up before, so I'm going to turn that round again and I'm going to trim the edges off there. Now we remember we're lining this up, the center one is the white one in the middle, that was why I couldn't find it. We're lining the lines up there and the lines up there to our blue fabric, and I'm going to trim these down. So there we go, and I'm going to do that way. And there. Okay. So we've done that way. So now what I do is I rotate this round, and you can see that that was for the wide ray. I'm rotating it now because these are the narrow. So I'm now also looking at the white square, lining that up, and again you can see that line and that line. I'm lining up to the blue seams that I lined up previously. So keeping that like that. And when you do that, you'll see that the fabric here lines up perfectly and the fabric there lines up perfectly as well. If it doesn't, all you do is line it up to the edge, because it's literally, we're talking about a thread, 1-2 threads different. If it doesn't line up, it's not going to show. So it's up to you how you do it. Those are just the little cheat things that I found. But mine luckily lines up there. Put my ruler down, cut this bit off there, and you cut that bit off there. And voila, you have your block, which is a complete inverse of that one. So you can see where I've got my light here, I previously did my demo in the dark, and you've got the dark there. So that then is the two different ways. So this is that block there, and this block is that block there. I'm just rotating it that way. So you can see a really universal ruler, many different ways you can use it, and it's just a fabulous way of doing it, and it's just so simple. So don't ever throw these instructions out, and you can see you can make some really, really special products here, special designs. But with the ruler, what makes it so easy is as you're going along, you know that's my second narrow, that's my first narrow, that's my, well, if you're doing it this way, that's my wide. So it's just really easy to follow using the ruler and the instructions to be able to make these fabulous blocks. And you can just see the different variations of colour and how you can use them. Really, really, really lovely product. But now equally, I got very excited about the curvy log cabin. I'm going to now show you the normal log cabin. And the reason I haven't got a demo for this one yet is, where's my ruler? What did I do with it? Here it is. So over here, that's my curvy. 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 Right. So what I've done over here, this is my normal log cabin ruler here, and I'm going to put that on top of some Liberty. Who doesn't want some Liberty on your fabric? So you can see this one's really great because it's slightly different, but virtually the same. You've got lots of different blocks you can make with this as well. There we go. So you can see you've got 3 different blocks you can make it with. This is block here, I've made there, sorry. This block there, I've made here. That block there, I've made here. So you can see that block there. And remember I said to you about the centre of the blocks always being pink or red to be able to remind you that the home fires are always burning. And then that one goes there. So using this ruler, what's really, really nice to do, again, make sure you've got your instructions, open them up as you go, because they're all different and the way that you do them is very different. So I'm going to start with the difficult one first. So you can see when you're doing it, that is your centering square for the half log cabin, which is this block here. So you can see that that with the seam allowance is how big you want it to be. And you can see that that fits in perfectly there, all the way along, and you can see how these all line up. So when you're doing it, that's your centering square for the first one, and then when you've got your second one, you can see you've got a dotted line there that you line up to the edge of your second one. And then, oh, I'm doing it the wrong way around, sorry. So there's round 1. You line round 1 up to there and there, and you've got your seam allowances there, and you trim off. Then round 2, again, you line up there and there, and you've got there. And then round 3, you trim off there. Then round 4, you just keep going. That's round 4. And then round 5 is there. And then when you're finishing, it's there. So that's how you're doing the half log cabin center. I followed these lines going this way and just increased because these squares here are the same size as you go along, and it just worked perfectly. And again, you can then, I left these all long until I was finished the block, because, is it this one? You'll see on this one I was trimming as I go, so you can tell my square is no longer square because I've lost my seam allowance on there because I was trimming as I go. I rather leave these to the edge, having lots left over, make the block correctly, and then trim it down. And you can see it worked a lot better doing it that way rather than trimming as you go. You might be more talented in using it than I was. That was the first time I used it, but that's how I found that worked really, really well. But again, you've got that methodology of Stripology and Creative Grids, that you've got these simple techniques on being able to do it. So you can see there for your centering block, this is now just a bog standard log cabin. You can see that that fits perfectly in the center. When you're doing your first round, that's your first round there with the whites. Then you rotate your block when you're doing the greys. And again, you then trim that off with the seam allowance. That's for round 1. And then when you've done round 2, you just move it up. You trim off that end and then rotate your block around, round 2, and you trim off. And then when you get to round 3, we'll keep going with the dark, so you've got round 3 there, you trim off, and then with the light side, again, you line up with round 3 and you trim off. So it's a really simple ruler to use for those two. And then equally, you've got the quartz steps as well, which is exactly the same. So you would line the whites up on either side and you would trim that there, maybe leaving a little bit of edges on there, and then rotate it round and you'd trim that edge there. Then you would sew the grey blocks on, the light grey, then you would trim off that side, rotate it round, line it all up again, trim off that side. So you'll have a perfect square. Then you put the whites on the side. You may have some bits lefting over there, it doesn't matter. They'll be longer here as well, doesn't matter. When you're at that point, you slide it up then to number 2. You trim off those 2 sides, rotate it round, put it in, trim off those 2 sides there. And then you just repeat that for the last round, for the 3rd round. This one's a little easier because it's the last round of the whole thing. Line 3 up, go like there, 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 there. Rotating mat would come in really handy because you just swivel it round. So it's a really lovely set of rulers, and pretty similar in how you use them, the two of them, but you can tell that the outcome is so different. So it's a really, really lovely combination of fabrics, of rulers, these two. So I'm very, very proud to be able to bring these to you. This one is the log cabin trim tool. This is just for the straight log cabin. That's $22.99. Whereas previously I was showing you the curvy log cabin trim tool, which is for this block. And the curvy log cabin trim tool, helps if I got that the right way around, that one is $22.99. So you can see how different the two are because one does create a curve. This is the curvy one, the one that we're demoing there, and that's your traditional log cabin. And you can see how that does create a curve, and putting these in corners of quilts creates a really lovely impact. And an 8-inch square is a really nice size to be able to do it. So I have been very, very pleased with this, and I just can't stop making these blocks. They're fabulous. A really lovely product, but my top tip, don't get rid of these instructions because I promise you, literally read each one as you go. And you can see even here, if you forget how you're doing it, it'll show you how you trim it, how you do everything, and how you get it along. If you're doing a half log cabin, it tells you the same thing, how you trim it and how you go down. And if you forget what sizes you're cutting, they're all in here as well. So the instructions are very, very key. And the amount of creative grids I've got at the minute, I'm starting a little library of them and putting them in a separate file as my creative grids storage file. So there we go. That is our curvy and our log cabin. Really lovely product there, and thank you very much, Creative Grids. Oh, we've had some messages in. Yay, I love messages. We've got a message in from... We've had a message in from Jeanette. Is that Jeanette Pereira? No. Oh. Hello, Jeanette Thompson. She's loving the demo. Thank you. Oh, she has it, but she's not left used it. Well, now you know what you're doing with it. Enjoy. And honestly, it is really not hard at all. It's a lovely product, and you really will love using it. And hopefully I've made it easy for you to understand how to do that. We've had a message in from Tracy. Good morning, Tracy. She's saying Liberty Fabric and Creative Grids. I know, it's Christmas. No, it's almost Easter. Sorry, I missed that bit, Joe. What a winning combination. Quite right. She says, thank you John, for a wonderful demo. And for showing off the beautiful fabrics. Oh, Tracy, you're a sweetheart. Thank you so much. Lilybet, I want to say good morning to you as well. And Andrew, I think you'll be up by now, so nice to have you all with us. And please drop us a message on Facebook or on Instagram. We'd love to be able to answer your questions while we're on air. And if you've got any questions about the products that we're using or the fabrics that we've got, drop us a line. We can answer you there. We've got our website, www.sewingstreet.com, or our UK-based call centre of 0800 001 4433 in case you want to order anything on our website. Anything that we've got on the show and you don't have access to the website. What an amazing hour. I'm loving this. Oh, we have a picture. Oh, got a picture. Joe is getting a picture ready for us. So I'm just going to surreptitiously put this little bit of Liberty over here in my bag. So we have got quite a lot on the hour today. So I'm going to recap some of the things that we've had on today. We've done the rulers, so I'm going to recap on our lovely early bird. Got our lovely early bird over here. Many of you saw this on our first hour, but it's first one to watch the show. Early bird catches the worm. We've got this lovely little sewing box, which is really, really quite fun. Loads of different spaces to put all your bits and bobs. Really cute product. And Joe's busy setting the camera up, and he's now rushed back in there. Oh. There we go. So you can see all these wonderful little slots. That's for your Jack the Ripper unpicker. You've got your 60-inch metric and imperial tape measure. You've got a lovely set of embroidery scissors. Beautiful pin cushion in the middle as well. Got an empty pocket for you to put your money in or just your bits and bobs that you want to keep in there. We've got our lovely card here with a thread on that you can then put your own thread on once you've used it up. We've got a trusty needle threader here. And they all come in this wonderful little box with beautiful embroidery of bees and things. And our little bee arms and legs are movable, so you can move our little bee. Where is he? We can make his little bee experience a bit more fun. You can see he's flying a little bit faster than the others now. So you can see you can play with that. Really lovely product. We've got this fabulous Seams hand cream and the cuticle oil. I demoed that earlier today. Really lovely. We sold out of the hand cream the last time we had it on. We do have a slight delay on delivery on the hand cream. It's not in the warehouse today. It'll be there tomorrow. Obviously, everybody's having a few delays on their deliveries at the moment. This is $13.99 for the hand cream. And yeah, it's a really lovely product. And we sold out so well of it last time. So if you do want it, don't hang around. We've got now the nail oil as well. This was made by Karen, I think it's Garrett, forgive me if I pronounce your name incorrectly. She had taken up crochet. And when she was doing crochet, she realised that her hands needed a little bit more protection from the wool that she was using because it damaged her cuticles. So she developed this wonderful hand and cuticle oil as well to be used in conjunction with the hand cream. This is 28 mils and you use barely anything of it. The dabber, whatever it's called, doesn't even have anything in it. It's completely empty, but you can see that I used 2 drops and it did all my hands completely, really, really well. So you don't need a lot of the product and you'll just be able to enjoy that. Really lovely smells on those as well. So then we've got our wonderful bundle from Henry Glass. Oh, we've had a picture in from Heather. Hello. Oh, wow, Heather, look at that. That's a gorgeous log cabin, and that's using the curvy one, isn't it? What a lovely, lovely shot that. Oh, we have got some clever sewers there, we really do. That is lovely. My only question to you, Heather, is, did you use the curvy Creative Grids ruler? Message us in if you have. It's a really lovely quilt, that. Well done, how stunning. So just to recap on what we had on the last hour, we got this massive mega bundle, 5 meters of fabric by Henry Glass, as well as this beautiful panel, these hydrangea fabrics, Really, really lovely products, this. I think that was £76.49. So you can see that first picture, you can see clearly as the panel, and then all these wonderful products, all these wonderful fabrics after it are all 1/2 metre pieces. Really, really lovely products, those, and I've gone through those at length in the first hour, so do check back the 9 o'clock show if you're interested in that. It's a really lovely product, and we didn't have much of this left. And we are selling it by the 1/2 metre as well, so if you are interested in anything there, pop in and get it. So the Liberty fabric now, I have cut this up and I have used a bit, so you're going to get more of this than is actually here. It's a full 1/2 metre of this, but you can see I've cut a bit off this now for my demo. But this is now the pink Liberty fabric. We've got a bundle here with the light and dark of the pink in order to make our log cabins, because log cabins are more traditionally light and dark, with our lovely hearth being the red fabric that I accidentally procured from behind me. This is a 1/2 metre of this colour and the dark fabric, and they're £14.99 for the metre of fabric. They're also sold by the 1/2 metre on the website, and I think it's £7.49 a metre by the 1/2 metre. I think it's £7.49 by the 1/2 metre. We'll double check now. £14.98 for the metre bundle, but is the Liberty? I think it's £7.49 or it's £7.99, but it's close to that. On the website by the 1/2 metre. £7.49, Joe's just confirmed. So that's the light of the pink range, and then we've got the dark of the pink range as well, which is quite William Morris-esque. It's got a beautiful feel to this one, a bit like the Strawberry Thief. Bring that forward a bit so you can see it there. It's just gorgeous. I absolutely adore this fabric. It's so beautiful. This is from the Winterbourne collection. And if you were looking at these, we did a show of this a couple of days ago, and it's just got the most gorgeous fat 1/4 metre bundle on this as well. So do check that out. And then that's the pink range. I'm getting a bit better at this folding thing, am I? No, I'm not. Oh no, I cut more off that one. So this is the blue range, and remember I've cut bits off this for my demo. So you can see you've got the light in the blue as well, so we wanted to make sure we had a light and a dark. Get that forward a bit for you. Just a really cute fabric, this. And it's Liberty. What could possibly want you? Liberty is just amazing. And that's the light of the blue bundle. Oh, getting my. And then this is the dark of the blue bundle. And again, you're going to get 1/2 metre of each of these. I've cut in these for my demo earlier, so you will get a 1/2 metre of them.
We do have the orange and the bright pink log cabin fabric bundle as well.
And then what you'll see as well, in the demo, what I was doing earlier, I used this wonderful combination of greys and black and pink. What I did there is I spoke to Hayley and wanted to say I loved being able to show the gradation of the light grey, dark grey to the black, and then having the white on the other side and a pop of pink. So what I'm doing, what we did as well, is we're able to bring you this bundle. There are 1/2 metre of each. Not quite sure how many blocks you'll be able to make out of it, but it's a case of you just start it and see how you go. This 2 metre bundle is £13.96. It's a nice little price to be able to get you in, to be able to do it. And you've got the different colours. So let me show you this beautiful pink first. So you're getting a 1/2 metre of each of these. So it's this gorgeous pink. It's such a bright poppy pink. Let me get that forward a bit for you. Really lovely colour, that. So that's the first piece in this bundle. Then you've got the light grey. So just to show you the light grey and the size you're getting, and then I'll show you the dark grey and the black to show you how they merge together. And it's just, we did 2 bundles of this. We did this beautiful pink one with this light grey, and I think we've called the school grey, and then the black. So you can see how beautifully they all blend together there. And then we've got the lovely pop of pink there. So you can see that that's our little bundle there for $13.96. Just a really lovely bundle then. And it's a nice way of just getting you to start playing with these rulers to be able to enjoy them. And then as well, not only did we do the pink, we also did the orange, which I'm going to show you a lot of in the next hour. We did exactly the same, black, school grey, light grey, but we also popped this beautiful orange in this bundle, because this orange is just so vivid and vibrant. And it just works really, really well for the next demo as well. This would all work really well with the log cabins too. I just focused on this for my hexagon range, which is lovely. So there we go. We've got some amazing fabric. It's got the 2 bundles there for $13.96. We've got the hexagons in the next hour, which I'm incredibly excited about. And I went a bit mad because it's wonderful being able to get these rulers and you get to play with them. And I always think what's a good sign is when I started playing with a ruler and 6 hours later I'm still playing with the ruler, I know that I'm on to a winner. So watch out for that in the next hour. We're going to see you after the break. We're just going to clear the set and get everything ready. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you so much for your time over the last hour. Don't forget to check out on your website, www.sewingstreet.com. If you've got it in your basket, do check out because a lot of the stock we have is limited at the moment. So if you haven't checked out, it's not yours. If you'd like to call our UK-based call centre, it's 0800 001 4433. And if there's something that's limited, they might be able to nick it out of your basket and give it to someone else. So have a great few minutes and we'll see you then. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick unpick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Hello, I'm John Cole Morgan and I'm really excited about our sew along on the 18th of April. I really hope you're going to be able to join us. If you want to take part, you'll see that you'll need to buy the Design Roll Race bundle, which is reduced by £10 by buying the 3 bundles together, which will be $49.97. I'm going to show you now the finished quilt to show you what it is you're going to be making. So you've got this amazing gradation of colours going through the different bundles that we have. And you can see I was lucky enough to be able to get my lovely pink strips right in the middle as whole pieces. If you want that, you keep them at 55 inches long and you then just sew them end to end and one of your rolls will appear fully in the middle. When you get your bundle, you're going to get a piece of fabric like this and you're to cut out every single strip. Cut them all out, clear the white bits off, so you'll cut the white out there, you'll cut them all into these different strips, and my suggestion is that you keep them from light going to dark, and you keep that bundle, that'll be number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 16 on each colorway. I did mine where I kept all the orange together, all the pink together, and all the blue together, and I sewed yellow, blue, pink, and I started light yellow to dark yellow, dark blue to light blue, light pink to dark pink. You do them how you like, and I also did them at 55 inches. The one I'm going to be doing on the show is I'm cutting them down in half and I'm making them to be 27.5 roughly inches. So you can then do the same. Once you've cut them out into your strips and you've decided what length you're going to do them, which colorway you'd like to do them, then you're going to take them and each single strip, you can do them the same color, you can alternate the colors, you can change it, it's entirely up to you. You're sewing on the short end of all of your strips. So you will have a single 2.5 inch tall strip of fabric, which will be roughly 1700 inches. If you do want to be at the point when I'm going to be for the design roll race, sorry, not a jelly roll race, what you're going to need to do, you take your raw edges of the fabric that you've got left, put them together, and you sew down one side. So your 1700 inches becomes roughly 850, and I'll be going one step further before the race, and then having you fold the raw edges together again and sew down one of the raw edges. That will then mean that you've got 4 inches this way, and round about 400 inches of fabric. If you want to do this, take part in this, the bundle is on your screen at the moment. It's a $49.97 and we're going to be starting this at 9:30 on the 18th of April of this year. I'm really looking forward to being able to host this with you. Any questions or queries, please drop us a line on the social media platforms and I really look forward to having you there. Thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
Hello and welcome to Sewing Street. I'm John Cole Morgan and I'm very excited to welcome you in this hour because we've got the Creative Grids Hexagon Trimming Tool. And what I'm doing at the moment is I had a long play with this ruler yesterday and I'm just laying out how I did this. So I'm hoping you'll bear with me and I'll just show you the different blocks as we go along. And I'm just laying this all out. There's no right or wrong way, but I had a nice little play with it yesterday, and I thought this method worked, this way of laying it all out worked very well. And once I've got it all laid out, Joe is very kindly going to show everybody what I came up with. But the great thing with this ruler is you can do it any way you like. There is no right or wrong. Sorry. How did I do that? Was it there? And then that one was that way. I've just had a message in. Heather very kindly shared one of her pictures of her very first quilt with us. That was her first ever quilt. Can you imagine? Heather, that's very, very good. It was a really beautiful quilt. Well done. So what I've done here is I haven't actually sewn these together simply because partial seams terrify me, so I will get to that point at some point, but not this week. Too much going on. But what I wanted to show you with this is everything that you see here, including these half hexies, everything including these setting triangles, have all been cut from this Hexagon tool ruler. And all I did was I literally just had a play. I cut out strips, laid it all together, laid it all down to get it right, and could not stop playing with it. Sorry, I'm just laying these all out. So Joe is very kindly using his different camera mechanisms to get this all in vision for you, because it's quite a lot of blocks. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to sew these all together, but just look how exciting they are, and I'm knocking blocks over as I go. But what's really interesting about this is the way you can lay them all out. So that is where we are now. So what I chose to do was to have an orange set. Let's start at the very beginning. So there are different sizes that you get on this ruler. So this is your fabulous ruler. This is the fabulous ruler. So the first thing I did was, because I like things to be nice and easy, I cut out an 8.5 inch white hexagon. So I can easily take that and pop that in my middle. And I can then embroider on it all I like. You can see I've got all the different colours coming into the middle. See from there? You can do that. But then equally, when you're looking for a setting hexagon, it shows you on the ruler here, on this line, you can see that that's the half hexagon seam. So all you do is you cut your hexagon there, and then you trim it according to this to get your seam line. So you get your setting hexagons, which are up here, which I'm hoping Joe can zoom up to. He's getting there. Come on. So you can see I've got these wonderful setting hexagons here, which all of us know that when we're doing EPP or any project, it's a lot easier having a straight edge up there to be able to sew a border on if you want to. Forgive me, I have a frog. Sorry about that. And it's just a really great tool to be able to do that. But equally, you've got these 120-degree triangle settings pieces on the side as well, which just slot in beautifully. So that's the first one that you can do. Then the second one I'm going to show you next. That's going to be my demo. I'm going to cut a 6.5 inch triangle for you. But then I also did a 6.5 inch hexagon. But then I did a 4.5 inch hexagon there. You can see that that's now marked out on the line. That's the next one that I did, which worked really, really, really well in showing you the different ways that this ruler works. So you can see that's really nice and big. And then equally, when you get down to the smaller pieces, it shows you how well they work there as well. But you can see just why I got carried away with it all. So this is your 4.5 inch ones. And the way that works beautifully into your tool, you'll be able to see then you've got the dotted lines around the border of it. That's how that slots in there. And then you've got your 2 inch one in the middle. And you can see there that that slots in beautifully there. So it's just that there's so many different ways that you can make these different blocks. And I wanted to be able to just create something really, well, I want to say simple, but obviously this doesn't look simple. But it was just so nice to be able to make something so unique. And the way you can do it is entirely up to you. This was my central block for this one. And the other reason I haven't put it together is I've fallen in love with it and I'm going to make loads more. But you can see how I've got this, all the insides coming into it. But equally, if you don't want them to, you can cut them all off by just rotating them all the way round. So it just changes the entire dynamic of that central block by just rotating all of these without having it. But equally, you've then got the dark to the light, dark to the dark, dark to the light, dark to the dark. You see what I mean? It just changes it ever so slightly in the different ways of being able to lay this all out. Which is why I loved this ruler, because it was so different. And also with these, if I put this here, if you lay those there, you can rotate them like that, or you can have them all, you can see these are different. And if I rotate it like that, now they're the same, but they don't connect because the blocks are the same. So if you're putting them next to each other like that, they're always going to rotate. So this will point up, that will point up, that one will point down. Whereas that one points up, that one points down. So it's just really quite interesting, just depending on how you want to lay these out, how they would work. Because you might prefer to have the darks going together there. So it's just a really nice, fun way of playing with this ruler to make it work. And I'm absolutely addicted to it. It is definitely my favourite ruler I have used. And I know that's a very strong word, as a testament towards it, but I have loved this block. Absolutely loved it. And I'm sure the next time I use another one, I'll love that one more. But this is such a great ruler to use. I'm going to use the Liberty. And I'm going to use this piece of Liberty because it is so beautiful. And we're going to use, so I have now got, now remember I said to you, with these, you get your instructions. Keep your instructions. It's really, really important. First thing I'm going to do is, I know that my hexagon is going to be 6.5 inches. So I'm going to cut a 6.5 inch strip. So I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger. Okay, so this is how simple this ruler is to use. So the first thing you're going to do, sorry, I was wrong. You do need to, I'm only going to cut one of these, so I'm just going to cut this off here. Right. So because I know that from there to there is 6.5 inches, I'm going to double check that with my ruler, because the ruler is 6.5 inches, and it lines up perfectly. I'm going to take this little piece of fabric, and I'm going to line it up to 6.5, and there we go. So now I know, because I trimmed that off there, you can see that that lines up, but I'm going to pull it back just to make sure. Right, so I've lined that black line up and that line up there with the fabric, and I'm going to just retrim this down here. Now this is where a rotary cutter comes in incredibly handy. Do not do this at home. Right, so now I know that that side, that side, that side and that side are all straight. I'm going to turn this and I'm going to line all 4 of those sides up with the black line that are on the ruler. So you can see that one's lined up, that one's lined up, that one's lined up, that one's lined up. Okay. Right, you've got your hexagon. I'm going to make it directional, so that'll be going up, that'll be directional, so I'll be going there. So the next time I'm going to be doing the next sections, I just need to double check the width of them. I did check, but of course that was many hours ago. First strip, second strip. I think it's 1 3/4. I'm going to cut 2.5 just in case. And I'm going to use the 2 light fabrics. I'm going to use that one. Actually, I think those 3 go together really well. So I'm going to use the blue, the dark blue bundle piece, and I'm going to use the light pink bundle piece. And I'm going to take these with the fabric. And I'm going to cut these at 2.5 inches. I do think I'm cutting these too big. In fact, I know I am, but I can't find the right size and I don't want to get it the wrong size for the demo. You can always trim it down, but you can't add it back on. So there we go. That's the light pink in this bundle. And that's the dark blue in the blue bundle. Oops. So, this is now going to use something called partial seaming. Do not get alarmed. I promise it's easier than you think it is. So, this now tells me that when I'm doing the 6 inches, third round needs to be 4 inches long and 7 inches long. So, right, so our block is going to have pink there, blue there, pink there, blue there, pink there, and blue there. So those are going to be our orders of sewing everything on. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to line these 2 together. Now what a partial seam means is you're going to line this bit of white fabric up to the edge, a little bit over the edge of that fabric there. and you're going to sew from there to halfway. You're not sewing all the way along. And there's a reason for that, and I'll show it to you in a little while. So now that I've rotated my sewing machine, oh, I love this juki. Right. So again, if your quarter inch isn't quite right, don't worry, because this ruler helps you in order to make sure that you're able to, whatever your quarter inch seam is, it will come right with the ruler. And I'll show you what that means when we trim everything down. So all I'm doing here is I'm just finger pressing that line there, okay? So what I've done is this step in the process here. You can see I've done a partial seam and I've pressed the strip out, okay? Now, I'm going to take this blue line, this blue fabric, which is the next in the run, and I'm going to line that up a little bit over the edge there. You don't need to, but I just do it just for good measure. And you take it all the way along there and you sew a complete seam all the way along. Ooh, I think I've just popped the plate off. There we go. Okay, so now, because I finger pressed the first time, I can now press this nicely. So at this point, if you wanted to, and what I did was, you can now trim off the excess light pink fabric. Line your quarter inch seam up with this, your quarter inch seam with the quarter inch line on your ruler, and then all you do is you just trim that little bit off. It just gets rid of the fabric before it becomes a problem. Okay. And I love my seams being pressed open, so that's what I'm doing there. Now I'm not pressing this seam here with a partial seam, I'm leaving that one be, but I've pressed that nice and open there. Okay, so when we look at it this way again, you can see I'm now at the point where I'm going to put the light fabric over there, because that's the next piece along, because we're going in anti-clockwise direction. So at this point as well, if you want to trim off this excess blue, you're most welcome to do so. Again, if you don't have to. Some people prefer to have the extra layers of fabric in. That's entirely up to you. I just prefer having less in there than needed. And I've only chosen the three colours for this. Obviously, if you bought loads of Liberty fabrics, you can then coordinate these together. You can make these hexagons be your star of the show, if you like, and then just put coordinating fabrics around it. It's going to be beautiful that way. So the other way I found of trimming this is, if you want to, at this point, you then line your ruler up with the hexagon side line here, and you then just trim this bit off here. So there's two ways of doing it. You can trim it before or after. And then you just line your fabric up, and there we go. You might find that easier, I know I did. But it's up to you how you wish to do that. The other thing just to remember is with the hexagon, you're going to have bias on there, and on the edge of the fabrics when you're sewing the seams on, you're going to have bias there. So try not to stretch it, try not to pull it, just gently ease it through the machine, because this is all on the bias here, this could be on the bias there. So just make sure you're not stretching or pulling or anything like that, because you don't want to distort them after you're doing all this work. There we go. Come on, tell me how that easy this is. Look how quick I'm going on this. And now I've lost my... Oh, there it is. So now I've stitched this one, and this one. Now I'm at that point where I'm going to trim this off before I sew. Lining my ruler up with the edge of the hexagon. Trimming that off. And then I've got my lovely light pink bit there. And you can see I'm lining that up along that line there. And this time I'm going to sew it the other way round, because then I can be 100% sure I'm going to get my open seam kept open. Oh. Every time I try on something different, my little machine doesn't like it. Come on, you. I was a bit worried I wasn't sewing then. So you can see how easily this is taking shape. We've only got one seam left to go on this, and then to finish off that partial seam. So all I'm doing now is pressing this open, giving it a little blast of steam, which some of you would say I shouldn't, but I'm going to. So we're now at that point where you can now line that up and take away your excess fabric over here. So when we're stitching this down here, we need to make sure that we keep this out of the way. Okay, so we keep that there while we line this up over here to sew on this line here. That must stay out of your way. Otherwise you're going to end up in a little bit of a muddle, and you'll be doing some Jack the Ripping. Oh, we've had a message back from Heather saying what a fabulous demonstration. She's learning so much. Heather, thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you. But I won't deny this is definitely the most fabulous quilting ruler I've ever used. I'm really enjoying using it. Even now I'm looking at this and thinking, oh, I've got all those Liberty fabrics there. I could make one of these. And then you can see once I've pressed this back, because we want to make sure we've got the perfect project for our Liberties. If anybody hasn't been to the Liberty shop in London, it is absolutely, it was the original Emporium. It's just an absolute Aladdin's cave of beauty. Everything is so gorgeous to look at. Now I'm not too worried about the edge of this not being sewn, because I know that that's being pressed properly, because I know that's about to be chopped off. So now what I'm doing here, this now becomes a little bit more fiddly. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping that out the way. Be careful with this, because if you cut this off now, you're a bit troubled. So I'm lining my ruler up with the rest of this dark blue line that I can see, and I'm going to trim this off. Just that little bit off there. And then all I'm doing next is, now this is where your partial seaming, you've got to be very careful, because if you've gone too far, you can't get the seam again. And if you've gone too far this way, you're in the way. So that's probably a little bit close to the seam for my liking. So what you're going to do is you're going to start stitching. I try and start stitching about four or five stitches before where I ended up cutting off. So I need to just be careful because this is folding back on itself. That's better. Right. Fingers crossed. Are we ready? Right. So what I was showing you earlier is over here, my initial seam ended there. So what I did is this time, you can see my initial seam ended there. You can see the doubling, that was where my initial seam, I started over there and I tried to get on top of it as much as I could and then sew that line down. Not too bad actually, lining those seams up. Impressed with that. Now this one, unfortunately, because I missed the seam over here, I'm going to have to press this to one side. And I'm just going to live with it because that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So now that I've pressed all of this down from the back, I'm very happy with what the back looks like. Rotate it round, and I'm going to give this a nice good steam press into place, get everything ready, because we're about to trim everything down. Now if you had a rotating mat, this is the perfect time to use it. We do have one, but I can't find it. But this is great because, no, we're good, Joe, honestly. So what I'm doing here is, over here, you will find that that's the edge of your 6.5 inch, and then you've got a dotted line over there. That's going to be your finished 6-inch hexagon. So that dotted line goes all the way around your hexagon. Line that up as close as you can, okay? And we're going to trim that side, that side, that side, and that side. Obviously, it's not safe to be doing it the way that I'm doing it now. So I'm going to rotate my block a little bit, and I'm going to put that there so that I can at least get one, maybe two of my lines. So at this point, you're going to see I was slightly out of my 1/4 inch over here, but I was perfect on the rest of them. So all you do is you just find the middle of it. If it's not exact, it doesn't matter. Just find the middle of it. And no one's going to criticize you on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is, nope, that's not right. It's here. So you can see I'm cutting there, 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 and there. So this is my first seam. Okay, so I know that that's right. I know that's right. Now, it's not safe to be cutting the other way. So I'm going to line my 6.5 inch ruler up again. Nope. Yes. Where are you? There we go. So you can see I've just lined those stitch markers up again. Now if you had the rotating mat, you'd line that up once and then you would just rotate the mat as you went. Look how good that is. Okay, so again, we know that we've done those two correctly. We line our 6.5 inch line up in the middle. We've done this one, we've done this one, we've done that one, and half of that one. So we line that up. That feels very big. Well, this is actually the easiest way. You've done these two lines, so just put the edge of the ruler, so you can see you've cut these lines off perfectly here. If your brain is struggling like mine is right now to work it out, just line your template up with those 4 that you've cut, and just cut the rest off, because that's you finished the block. And voila, you have your hexagon 6-inch braided border. And it was so simple to use. And even when you are struggling with a different little bit of directions like I was at the end, all you do is you slide it over and that's what size it is. So you can see the different ways that the ruler works with the different colour fabrics. And you've got, oh, let me show you the setting seams as well. So if you're looking to cut your setting triangles, you'll see it's got the setting triangle seam. Actually, let me turn that round and you can read it the right way around. So it says there, I don't know how far you can zoom in, Joe. Is that all right? There we go, that's perfect. So you can see that it says setting triangle seam, and all I did was I knew that that was the line there, so I cut the piece of fabric. I think I measured that to be, that was 2 3/4, or I think I cut 3 inches. And what I did is I cut a 3-inch piece, lined that edge of the 3-inch piece on there, cut that up, cut that down, and then was able to rotate the ruler like that to keep cutting all the way down the other side. So that's how you did that. And then if you're looking to cut your half hexy, where are we there? Half hexy seams. So this was your 8.5-inch hexagon. But you can see there's the 1/2-inch seam there for the half hexagon. So you would then cut along that half line, and that would be your setting hexagon there, and then this one over here would be your settings hexagon at the bottom. So that's the way you would do your half hexies as well. So that's a really nice way of doing it. So to just show you the different blocks you get out of this, so we've obviously got the full 8.5, the full 8.5 there. This is your 6.5. This is your 4.5, and then this is your 2.5. And you can see that it doesn't matter which colorway you choose, they all work really, really well. It just gives you a bit of interest. So you can see the black, I think, works really well. You keep the darks here, darks pointing out from there, and then you keep the lights all the way there. I think the white one has worked better than where I've chosen to use white in the middle and then the light greys. I think it would have been a bit more interesting if I'd kept that light grey or made this white, which is why I did it like that. But you're not limited to the different colourways. You can see you can do it like that. Oh, I don't know where yellow came from. I haven't used yellow before. It's just a really fun, easy block to do, and it's just something nice to play with and explore. And I literally, Hayley said, make maybe 3 or 4 blocks, and you can see I just could not stop making them because they're just so fun and really, really easy to use. And I just could not stop. I got so many different ideas. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit carried away, but I'm also then packing these up ready to go back in the box. But you can just see how many amazing different, they work really well. The one thing I did want to try was putting the darks here and then making these light. That was the one thing I didn't try. But that'll be this afternoon, because you've got to have some fun with these rulers and play with them. So yes, when Hayley said make 2 or 3, that's how many I made. And now I've made a Liberty one as well. So that was the last ruler that we were dealing with. I'm just getting rid of those. That was the last ruler that we had, the hexagon tool. But we also then had these wonderful log cabin tools. We had the curvy log cabin. So let me show you the curvy log cabin blocks. So the curvy log cabin here, you can see it creates a bit of a curve. If Joe zooms out a bit, I'll put 4 of these together and you'll see how the curve is formed. And you can tell that little curve is forming around there. But equally then, if you wanted to do it the other way and have a convex one, you'd have a slightly different outlook on it. So you can see the curves are coming in like that, a bit like your cathedral windows if you were doing those. So that was our curvy log cabin, and then I did them the other way round when I did our tutorial. I did the darks to the middle where the lights to the end, and you can see that that would work really beautifully as well to create a much more effective lighter one, and because there's accidentally so much Liberty on the table here that's been cut up, I hope to finish that and make another 3 of them to go that way. So that was our curvy log cabin ruler. That one is $22.99. And don't forget to make sure you hang on to your curvy log cabin rulers instructions, because you will refer back to these throughout your time of using it, and it's a really lovely set of instructions that you'll be able to keep. And that was the ruler there, and obviously all of the Creative Grid rulers have these wonderful little, you can see there, Joe, thank you for that. You can see it's got these wonderful little grippy bits. The only way to describe them really is grippy bits. And what that means is, so a normal ruler without the grippy bits, you can see without putting too much pressure on it, goes like that. But when I flop this over and you've got the grippy bits, using the same amount of pressure, it doesn't move anywhere near as much. Whereas when you've got it this way, applying the same amount of pressure, it does. So it's just something to add that little bit of extra security for you and a little bit more safety. So that was the curvy one, which is that one there, and I'm going to pop this on the curvy one so we know which one's which. And my hexagons, I'm going to put those hexagons under my hexagon ruler. So then this is the log cabin tool, trim tool. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Oh, this is now the normal log cabin, and there are 3 different types of blocks that you can make with this. You've got the traditional quart steps, you've got the traditional log cabin, and you can see the difference. This doesn't have the curve. This is that beautiful straight line all the way through, and then you've got a half log cabin over here, and then that was used with this Creative Grid log cabin trim tool. This is $22.99 as well, and also comes with a set of instructions that are vital all the way through, that you can do all these different products and different designs. Oh, we've had a message in from Sarah. Hello, Sarah. She's saying it's mesmerising watching the Creative Grids demonstration today. Thank you. I'm so glad you're all enjoying it. I've loved them. I absolutely can't tell you how much I've loved them. I think you can tell by the amount that I made of each one, the one I loved the most, but that's just my opinion. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong, it's just what worked well with my brain. We've got so much going on today. So we're going to do the Liberty bundles. Now remember, you're getting a ½ metre of each of these. They are cut up. This is not how much you're getting a ½ metre of it. So I'm just going to show you the different fabric colours so you can see which one you're getting. We're going to start with the pink one. You get 2 different fabrics with this one. This is the light in the pink, and you're getting a ½ metre of the light, and then you've got a ½ metre of the dark. And you can see how beautifully well they go together. You can see just that at the bottom of the screen. And this is a very William Morris-esque picture, fabric, that one. I really like that. So that's the pink one, and then we've got the blue one as well. We've got the dark in the blue. And you're getting a whole ½ metre of these. Just remember, I've cut this up for my demo. But you're getting a ½ metre of this dark for the blue, and you're also getting a ½ metre of the light with the blue. And it's a really lovely collection of fabrics, these. Those are both $14.98 for the ½ metre. And then if you just wanted to have a little bit of a play with some really lovely solids, we've got this bundle here, the orange bundle. And this is the one I use mainly for the hexagons. So you can see that is $13.96 for 2 metres. You get ½ metre of the orange, ½ metre of the light grey, ½ metre of the dark grey, and ½ metre of the black. That was $13.96 for the orange one. And then if you want the pink one, we've done the same one as well for the pink and the, just the pink and the orange. You can see that that is also ½ metre of each. You get a ½ metre of the pink, ½ metre of the black, ½ metre of the dark grey, ½ metre of the light grey, and that's also £13.96, like the orange, but it's just slightly different. Obviously, you're getting the different things. So tomorrow, I am incredibly excited. We are launching my block of the month. What, block of the week? Block of the week. So every Friday going forward, we're having the block of the week. We've got fabrics for the first hour, block of the week for the second hour, and then the amazing Juki NX7 tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. It's an amazing thing. Lovely to have you. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day. Keep safe. Bye-bye.